I am Sumo. Just when I thought I was declared dead, I was reborn and found myself back in the luxurious but cold villa of the Su family. The humiliating memories of my previous life came to my mind. As the missing young master who was found, I never received the warmth I deserved in this family. The cold treatment of my family and the insidious frame-up of the fake young master eventually pushed me into the abyss of despair, and I died unclearly. But in this life, I swear, I will never let anyone manipulate me again. The first thing I did after waking up was to quietly pack my bags and flee this hypocritical and cold home in order to avoid being framed by the fake young master, determined to completely draw a line with everything in the past. However, what I never expected was that when I disappeared, those who had looked down on me and hurt me showed regret one by one, and even came to me and begged me to go home. This change made me feel anxious again. Did they really regret it? Or was it another conspiracy? How should I deal with it? Chapter 1. Reliving a new life and suddenly realizing. At noon, the atmosphere in the living room was so heavy that it was suffocating, as if even the air was frozen. I stood aside and heard the quarrels of my sisters. "Mom, it was Sumo who soiled your skirt. I saw it all." My third sister, Su Manny, looked at me smugly and accused me mercilessly. "Sumo, how dare you slander others? It was obviously you who soiled Mom's dress." My second sister, Su Shuehue's voice was as cold as ice. She has never had a good face towards me. My mother, Xie Bingyan, the elegant and intellectual lady who was always adorned with jewels, stared at me coldly. "Sumo, tell me, was it you who made it dirty?" I looked at her, and everything in front of me was so familiar that I was a little dazed. I was reborn, and all this had happened before. At that time, I didn't admit it, but the result was even greater humiliation. My younger brother Su Juanja was the culprit, and I became the scapegoat. "I did it," I said suddenly. Xie Bingyan was stunned, and the air around her seemed to stop flowing. She didn't expect me to admit it so directly. "What did you say?" "Yes, I stained my skirt," I answered calmly, but my heart was full of sarcasm. This family still had no regrets after my death. Now, I will not let them have the opportunity to trample on me again. "Put your hands out." Xie Bingyan was furious, and the ruler mercilessly slapped my palms. Every hit was chilling, but the pain could no longer affect me. Su Juanja interrupted at the right time, pretending to be kind and well-behaved. "Mom, Brother Sumo just made an unintentional mistake. Please don't be angry." After hearing this, the mother patted his head lovingly, and a smile instantly returned to her face. Juanja is still sensible. I see through this drama. No matter how glamorous this family looks on the surface, there is only one truth at its core. Only obedience can earn their favor. "Sumo, why don't you thank your brother for pleading for you?" My mother ordered me coldly. "Get lost." I said this contemptuously and turned away. This time, I am no longer the Sumo who silently endured and tried to please them. Chapter 2. Starting your own business. At noon, standing in the living room of my home, I once again saw this so-called home clearly. After living a new life, I no longer had any expectations for the Su family. This home that I had tried my best to integrate into, the motherly love and family affection, were all illusory dreams. I'm reborn, and I don't lack money for the time being. I have to plan for myself first. I said to myself, first, make some money to prepare for the college entrance examination, and also exercise. In my previous life, I died of a sudden heart attack. The doctor said that I was overworked and exhausted. Looking back on the stupid things I did to please my eldest, second, and third sisters, I really feel ridiculous. In order to get their attention, I made delicious food in the middle of the night, sent clothes, and even took care of all the housework. But in return, I was treated with indifference and ridicule. I am such a jerk. I smiled bitterly to myself. I was so ashamed of myself for being so humble in the past. Su Juanja, the guy I once regarded as my brother, must have laughed behind my back countless times when he saw my flattering behavior, right? But in this life, I will never bend over backwards for these people again. I quickly sorted out the tens of thousands of dollars I had saved, took my ID card with me, and left that cold home. After leaving the house, I took a bus to a remote village. Although it was far from the school, it was not a problem to rent a house. I spent 1,000 yuan and found a simple little room. Although the conditions were not as good as the Su family's mansion, it was enough for me. After tidying up my place, I returned to the Su family to finish some things. As soon as I entered the door, my family was having dinner. My father, Sue Deming, saw me and frowned. "Where have you been? What's it got to do with you?" I replied coldly and walked straight to my room. I heard my third sister, Sue Manny's sarcastic voice from behind. "Huh, I guess you're going out to meet those shady friends again." I was too lazy to pay attention to them, so I went back to my room and started packing my things. Suddenly, my father, Sue Deming, pushed the door open and hit me on the head with a ruler. Blood gushed out instantly, and I touched my forehead, and my hands were covered in blood. "If you do it again, I will fight you to the death." I stared at him coldly, without a trace of emotion in my voice. He looked at me, his face was stunned, as if he didn't expect me to say that. Chapter 3. Start a business and make money. Sue Deming's roar echoed in my ears, and he yelled at me in frustration. "You want to sever ties with me? You've grown wings now, right? How dare you piss me and your mother off like this?" His face was distorted with anger, as if I had committed an unforgivable sin. I was too lazy to talk nonsense with him and just handed the pen to him. Okay. He was so angry that he was shaking all over and said through gritted teeth, "You rebellious son, I wonder how long you can last. Without our Sue family, you are nothing." After that, Sue Deming picked up the pen and signed his name on the letter of severance without hesitation. The moment I saw his signature, I was overjoyed. I also signed my name immediately, saying calmly, "3 copies, 2 for you and 1 for me. Goodbye." After that, I took back my own copy, dragged my suitcase, and walked out the door without looking back. "Master Mo, where are you going?" Aunt Zhao looked at me in surprise. She was the only person in the family who was kind to me. I smiled at her and said, "Aunt Zhao, don't worry. We'll see each other again someday." The moment I stepped out of the Sue family mansion, I felt like all the burdens on my body were lifted off. The shackles that had been weighing on my heart for many years finally disappeared. I was finally free. No longer bound by this so-called home, I could finally live for myself. Looking back on those absurd years, I tried so hard to please everyone in the Sue family, but what did I get in return? Nothing but indifference and ridicule. Now, I only live for myself. Walking out the door, I didn't look back. Sue Deming was still angrily issuing orders in the room, and everyone in the Sue family seemed to think I was bluffing. "He won't be able to hold on for a few days," Sue Manny sneered. "When he finds out that he can't leave the Sue family, he will come back in disgrace." Xia Bingyan also sneered. "Next time he comes back, no one will care about him. I will teach him a lesson, but they will never know that I am completely determined this time." I returned to the small room I rented. Although it was simple, it was at least a place that truly belonged to me. I spent some money to buy bedding, and after settling in, I started to exercise and practice questions to prepare for the upcoming college entrance examination. I know I don't have time to waste. The Sue family never provided me with the support I deserved, and even made me malnourished and weak. But all this will not continue. I must fight for myself because I know that no one in the Sue family will care whether I succeed or not, and even hope that I will achieve nothing. However, what I can't forget is my dear brother Sue Junsha. He is the most sinister character in the family. He appears to be well-behaved, but secretly he has already started planning my death. Before rebirth, he gradually poisoned me by putting palladium in my food, which eventually led to my heart attack and ended my miserable life. He had been patient for many years, and only after many things were exposed did he proudly confess to my parents how he had eliminated me, the threat, step by step. At that time, I watched all this in the state of a spirit, and the Sue family regretted it and shed tears, but it was too late. Now I've been reborn and have the opportunity to change everything. In this life, I will never let him go easily, nor will I let myself be used as a victim. Physical training, improving grades, and most importantly, accumulating wealth are all opportunities one must seize. In the next few days, I was busy adjusting my physical condition and gradually recovered. I began to plan how to make money and accumulate capital. According to my memory, a big storm will hit Shanghai City in a few days, which will cause the fishing industry to stagnate and the prices of fresh shrimp and crabs will skyrocket. I decided to take the opportunity to stock up on goods and sell them after the storm to earn my first pot of gold. I calculated my available funds, bought an oxygen pump and a tarp, rented a car, and prepared seawater, and everything was ready. Next, I just had to wait for the storm to come. I stood in the rented room, looking at the sky outside the window, and muttered to myself, "After the storm, it's time for me to rise. Chapter for your son is missing. Why don't you come back and look for him?" The storm was approaching, and the rain was hitting the windows violently. In the Su family's mansion, Xie Bingyin sat in the living room, her face full of anxiety and restlessness. "And Zhao, is there any news from Uncle Li?" Xie Bingyin frowned and stared at the heavy rain outside the window. "Ma'am," Uncle Li replied that no trace of young Master Mo was found. Aunt Zhao responded in a low voice. "Where's Uncle Zhao?" Xie Bingyin's voice was tinged with anger. Uncle Zhao couldn't find him either. After Master Mo left the Su family, he didn't go to the orphanage. Aunt Zhao shook her head. Xie Bingyin stood up suddenly, her face livid. "Where on earth did he go?" "Madam, we haven't found out yet." Aunt Zhao nodded hesitantly. "Go to number 16 middle school. He used to go to school there. Go and ask." Xie Bingyin almost yelled, anger burning in her chest. "It has been 5 days. Since Suimo left, he has disappeared. At first they all thought he was just having a bad temper. But 3 days have passed, and there is no trace of him. Today is the 5th day, and Xie Bingyin has completely lost her patience." At this time, Aunt Zhao carefully reminded, "Madam, in fact, Master Mo is no longer in number 16 middle school. He was admitted to number 27 middle school 3 years ago." Xie Bingyin was stunned. Number 27 middle school? Wasn't he always in number 16 middle school? Why did he suddenly go to number 27 middle school? "Madam, you may not know that young Master Mo was admitted to number 27 middle school at that time." Zhao Ma added. Xie Bingyin's face became even uglier. She had thought that Su Mo was just hanging around in the mediocre number 16 middle school, but she didn't expect that he was admitted to another school. "Go to number 27 middle school. Go now," she roared. Mother Zhao acted quickly, while Xie Bingyin was so angry that she sat down on the sofa with mixed feelings. She suddenly thought of something and turned to ask her third daughter Su Manny, who was playing with her phone nearby. "Do you know that your brother is studying in number 27 middle school?" Su Manny raised her head and shrugged. "How should I know? I'm busy with work, so I don't have time to care about him." Xie Bingyin was speechless after hearing her words, and she was furious. "You are his sister, and you don't even know where he is studying? Mom, you and Dad don't know his situation. How can I know?" Su Manny said indifferently, and then added, "It doesn't matter where he goes to school, as long as we find him." Xie Bingyin was so angry that she couldn't speak. At this time, Zhao Ma came back and said, "Madam, Uncle Lee said that Master Mo did go to number 27 middle school for classes recently, but because of the storm, the school is closed these days, and he is not in school." Xie Bingyin was even more furious. "Then where did he go? The teachers don't know where he lives either." Mother Zhao shook her head helplessly. Xie Bingyin slammed the table hard, turned around, and told Su Manny, "Call your eldest sister and see if she has any news about Su Mo." "Mom, why worry so much? He will come back sooner or later." Su Manny was a little impatient. "Just hit me when I told you to," Xie Bingyin shouted angrily. Su Manny had no choice but to send a message to her eldest sister and other sisters on WeChat, but she quickly looked up and said, "My eldest sister, second sister, and other sisters haven't heard anything about Su Mo, not even his phone number. Call him." Xie Bingyin was so angry that she almost jumped up. Su Manny was stunned. "I don't have his phone number. He used to send me messages to bother me, so I deleted him." Xie Bingyin was so angry that her face turned blue when she heard this. "What about the others? Who has his phone number?" Su Manny contacted her family again, but all the sisters said they didn't have Su Mo's contact information. Xie Bingyin looked through her phone and found that she no longer had Su Mo's number. She was stunned and suddenly realized that she had lost contact with her son long ago. "Damn kid!" Xie Bingyin gritted her teeth, her anger out of control. She stood up and ordered the driver to drive, taking Su Manny with her to number 27 middle school to look for clues about Su Mo. When she got Su Mo's contact information provided by the school, she found out when she called that the number had been shut down due to unpaid bills. Where on earth did he go? Xie Bingyin could no longer suppress her anger. In the heavy rain, her face was as gloomy as the storm. Chapter 5. He only has 500 yuan pocket money every month? The sound of a sports car engine came from outside, accompanied by the harsh sound of brakes, and 3 women walked out of the car. The eldest sister Su Wanning was already at home, and the next to come back were the second sister Su Shuhui, the fourth sister Su Pundi, and the fifth sister Su Shuang. The second sister was wearing a home dress, still the elegant music teacher. The fourth sister was wearing her women's suit meticulously. As an elite lawyer, she always looked serious. The fifth sister was wearing a white coat. She was a busy surgeon in the hospital. Xie Bingyin's eyes wandered over them, and it was clear that she was still furious. When did you lose Su Mo's contact information? You didn't even buy him a cell phone? No. Su Shuang spoke first. In the middle of last year, I deleted his WeChat and contact information. He kept calling me, and it affected my work. Me too, Su Shuehui immediately said. He almost embarrassed me at school once, and then I blocked him. He is really ignorant and often calls me. After hearing what the two said, Xie Bingyin became even angrier. She turned to look at her fourth sister, Su Pundi, and asked, "What about you? Did you delete his contact information as well?" Su Pundi looked innocent. "Mom, I often receive messages from him during court sessions. How can I bear it? I have to delete him. Otherwise, he will definitely bother me like he harassed my elder sister." Su Shuehui also complained. "That's right, Mom. He once came to our school to look for me. Why? It's really annoying if I don't block people like him." Listening to their words, I couldn't help but sneer, and my heart felt cold. These sisters all felt that I was disturbing their lives, even if I just wanted to say a few words to them. No one in the family cared about me at all, and I was stupid enough to try my best to please them. After hearing what her daughters said, Xie Bingyin's face turned pale, and she turned to her eldest sister, Su Wanning. "What about you? Did you delete his contact information too?" Su Wanning hesitated for a moment and sighed. "I didn't delete him, but I blocked him. At the end of last year, he came to our company, and I had to ask the security guard to kick him out." Xie Bingyin's face became even uglier as she realized that no one in the entire family had my contact information. Does anyone know if he still has a cell phone? Or what his number is? She finally couldn't hold back her anger and spoke in a sharp tone. Su Manny said disapprovingly, "Mom, don't worry. He will definitely come back in a few days. Let's talk about it when he comes back dejected. Anyway, I won't add him on WeChat anymore, so he won't bother me again." Me too. Me too. Su Shuehui and Su Shuang also followed suit, obviously not wanting to have any contact with me anymore. Seeing this, Xie Bingyin also sighed and said to Su Wanting, "Boss, you and the fourth brother go to Su Mo's room to see if there is any contact information for him." Oh! Su Wanting and the fourth child, Su Pandig, didn't know what to say and walked towards Su Mo's room. Su Mo's room is on the second floor of the villa. "Sister, what's wrong with Su Mo? He even broke off relations?" It made him laugh out loud. "Who taught him that?" The fourth sister, Su Pandai, laughed. Su Wanting glanced at her and frowned. "Old four, at the end of last year, did you know that Su Mo lost his phone?" The fourth child, Su Pundi, was stunned for a moment and said with a smile, "I know, but what does this have to do with me? It's not like I lost his phone. You know, why don't you buy it back for him?" Su Wanting stared at him. "What does this have to do with me? Don't blame me, eldest sister. My parents didn't buy it for him. So why should I buy it for him? Besides, didn't you buy it either?" The fourth child, Su Pundi, looked innocent. Su Wanting sighed when she heard this. "I heard from my mom that 5 days ago, my parents beat him up and broke his head." Ah! Su Pundi was surprised and her eyes widened. "So he is really going to leave our house?" Su Wanting stopped talking, her face solemn, and she quickly walked to Su Mo's room and opened the door. When she took a look inside, she was stunned. The fourth child, Su Panadai, was also surprised. The room was clean, with almost no unnecessary clutter. The quilts had been folded up like blocks of tofu and were placed neatly. The room is very small, only about 6 or 7 square meters, and can only accommodate a bed, 2 bedside tables, and a wardrobe. Just this alone seems very crowded. Su Wanting didn't expect Su Mo's room to be so small yet so clean. It was somewhat inconsistent with her impression. In her impression, Su Mo was always dirty. She was surprised. "Old four, how long has it been since you came to Su Mo's room?" "Ah, I've never been here before," said the fourth child, Su Pundi. "He's dressed quite neatly. Let's look for him. Maybe we can find his contact information." As he said that, he began to search inside. They opened the closet and found a few pieces of clothing hanging inside, and nothing else. "This dress." Su Wanting looked at the clothes in the closet and couldn't help frowning. "Old four, have you ever bought clothes for Su Mo? Why should I buy it for him? He won't buy it for me." Su Pundi said. "You seem to." Su Wanting thought for a moment and said, "I seem to have bought one. It's this one. When he just returned to the Su family, I took him and Juinja to buy it. And this one, I remember it was bought for him by the second brother. It was also bought 4 years ago." Su Pundi asked in surprise, "Sister, why are you saying this? Are you looking for the number?" "I remember this pair of shoes too. Lao Wu bought them for him." Su Wanting took a pair of shoes from under the closet, took a look and frowned. They are still new, and it seems that they have never been worn. Ah, Su Pundi was surprised. You and the third and sixth brothers have never bought anything for him. Probably, Su Wanting said. He sighed again. Except for the time he came back, we seem to have not bought anything for him in the past 4 years. The fourth child, Su Pundi, was slightly surprised when she heard this. Sister, what do you want to say? He doesn't need these things. What doesn't our Su family have? No, he is missing. He should be missing. Su Wanting was silent for a moment and said, I'll go call Aunt Zhao to come and take a look. Aunt Zhao should know. Oh. Su Wanting went out to call Zhao Ma, who quickly came over. Miss, you called me? Auntie Zhao. Let me ask, how many changes of clothes does Su Mo have in our Su family? Su Wanting asked. This. Mother Zhao looked at the two of them and suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Seeing that she didn't say anything, Su Wanting asked again. How many clothes did Su Mo take with him when he left? Did other people in the family buy clothes for him? When Zhao Ma heard her ask this, she couldn't help but sigh heavily. Miss, you know that everyone doesn't like Master Mo. This kind of thing. We servants can't say anything. Master Mo doesn't have any clothes? He just has 2 sets of school uniforms. What? In an instant, Su Wanting was struck by lightning and was completely stunned. Eyes wide open, in disbelief. It is said that Master Mo was an orphan who wandered outside for a long time. When he was here, he never told me that he didn't have enough clothes to wear. In addition to 2 sets of school uniforms, he should have 2 coats. Those 2 coats were earned by his part-time job outside. He didn't dare to tell the family, fearing that his wife would scold him. Aunt Zhao sighed and glanced inside. But it seems that Master Mo has taken everything now. When Su Wanting heard this, she became a little flustered. Well, what about the shoes? How many shoes does he have? Shoes? Aunt Zhao was surprised for a moment and said, There is a pair, but he must have worn them. There was a hole in that pair of shoes, and he sewed it up with needle and thread. Young Master Mo even asked me to borrow needle and thread before. Young Master Mo didn't say he had other shoes, and I haven't seen him wear them. Su Wanting was stunned. That means he has been wearing that pair of sneakers for 4 years. It should be, but Master Mo didn't say anything. He said it was just a hole, and it could be fixed by mending it. Later, he mended it himself with needle and thread, and he should still be wearing it now. Aunt Zhao sighed. Su Wanting was struck by lightning again, and her eyes widened. The fourth child, Su Pandadai, also frowned, and her expression suddenly became serious. She suddenly understood something and quickly turned around to look around the room. I found that there were indeed not many clothes and shoes in the room. There was a pair of sneakers, but they were new and had only been worn once. Suemo had wrapped them in plastic wrap, and now they looked like new. As for clothes, the same is true for most of them. Su Wanting stood in the room, recalling the 4 years that Suemo had lived here, and recalled every detail of her time seeing Suemo. She suddenly felt cold. Her whole body was chilled. In the past 4 years, my parents probably haven't bought anything for him. This room is actually the nanny's room. Not to mention us sisters. You don't have it, the second and third children definitely don't have it. And the fifth child definitely doesn't have it either. Su Wanting took a deep breath and felt cold all over. So, what did he do in our house? The fourth child, Su Pundi, came back and said, Dad and Mom should have given him some money and let him buy it himself. If he doesn't buy it, who can he blame? No, my parents probably didn't give him much money. I remember my mom said that she was afraid he would learn bad things and get into trouble outside, so she just gave him enough money for food every month. She also asked Uncle Zhao how much money a normal child gets. Uncle Zhao said 500 yuan a month, and then my mom gave him 500 yuan a month. As Su Wanting spoke, she took a deep breath and said, Mom shouldn't have increased his pocket money over the years. Definitely not. This is all given by the family's finance department, and Mom shouldn't have gone to the finance department. 500 yuan a month? The fourth child, Su Pundi, was also shocked. Her eyes widened. Is this true? Mom only gives him 500 yuan in pocket money a month. I'll go ask my mom and find out. Su Wanting couldn't believe such a thing, and suddenly felt very panicked. Combined with the letter of severance of relationship that Su Mo took out a few days ago, this kind of thing seemed to become very unusual. Almost all of his family members have cut off contact with him. She walked quickly outside. Wanting, is there his contact information in the room? Xie Bingyin and Su Deming were already eating snacks. When they saw them coming back, they frowned and asked. Su Wanting looked at her parents, thought for a moment, and said, No, we looked in the room, but there's no phone number for him. Damn it, is this rebellious son going to piss me off to death? Xie Bingyin suddenly became furious. Su Wanting looked at the fourth child, Su Pundi, before speaking. Mom, how much pocket money have you given Su Mo every month in the past 4 years? Does he have enough money to live outside? This? Xie Bingyin was still angry. After hearing this, she frowned. Why are you asking this? Isn't he not back yet? I'm just curious whether he has money on him. How much money did you and Dad give him to make him so bold? Su Wanting said. Xie Bingyin frowned and suddenly turned to look at Su Deming. Su Deming, how much money do you give him every month? How much money does he have on him now? Didn't you give him the money? Su Deming asked. You take care of the interior, and I take care of the exterior. We've already agreed on this? You didn't give him money? Xie Bingyin was surprised. How can I have the time to give him money? I'm busy with company affairs every day. I'm so busy that I have no time to take care of family affairs. We have the finance department at home. Just ask the finance department, said Su Deming. Xie Bingyin didn't quite believe that Su Deming didn't give her the money, and angrily said, if he didn't have any money, how could he dare to run away from home? He must have a lot of money on him. As she spoke, she picked up her phone and made a call. Hello, Shaoli. How much money does your finance department give to each child every month? How much does Su Mo give every month? What? Oh, I see you're right. Xie Bingyin looked a little surprised. That's right, madam. Your instructions for the time being have always been 500 per month. It has not changed in these years. The person on the phone spoke. Oh, I understand. Xie Bingyin hung up the phone and frowned. How much? Su Wanting stared at her mother, a hint of nervousness on her face. Xie Bingyin looked at everyone inside. 500. Shaoli said that for the past 4 years, it has been 500 yuan per month. I remember that I said this because I was afraid that he would spend money lavishly since he just arrived. 500 yuan can control his spending. Suck. When these words came out, everyone took a breath, especially Su Wanting and the fourth child, Su Pundi. Both had a look of shock on their faces. 500? Give him 500 yuan every month. It was obvious that Su Deming was also surprised. Xie Bingyin sneered. He is clumsy, has a lot of bad habits, is dishonest, and often steals things. 500 is already a lot for me to give him. As long as he doesn't starve to death, it's fine. Chapter 6, then he is gone now. The air in Su's restaurant seemed to be frozen. Everyone fell silent. The sisters looked at each other, especially the second oldest Su Xuehui, the third oldest Su Manny, and the fifth oldest Su Shuang, whose faces were filled with astonishment and disbelief. Our Su family is a wealthy family. How could we be short of money? Su Xuehui was the first to break the silence, with a sarcastic smile on her lips. 100,000 pocket money every month is a bit too much for me. Su Shuang curled her lips casually. But Su Mo, only 500 a month? Hearing this, Mother Xie Bingyin suddenly sneered and glanced at everyone. Why are you staring at me? I'm doing this for his own good. Children need to develop good habits from an early age. Otherwise, they will be useless when they grow up. As soon as the voice fell, Sister Su Wanting whispered, Mom, the problem is, he is gone now. Xie Bingyin was stunned for a moment, and anger immediately ignited in her eyes. Gone? Then find him back for me. If I don't teach him a lesson, I'm not even surnamed Xie. Her anger did not move Su Wanting at all. Su Wanting frowned and said slowly, Mom, how long have you not been in Su Mo's room? Why go to his room? That place is filthy and full of the stench of an orphanage. Xie Bingyin said coldly. But the fourth child, and I just want to check it out. Su Wanting took a deep breath and continued. There was only a thin quilt in his room and almost no clothes. Aunt Zhao said that he only had 2 coats and a few school uniforms, and no other clothes at all. Her words hit everyone's heart like a hammer. He has no clothes? The second oldest, Su Xuehui, frowned. Is the Su family so poor that they can't even afford clothes? After a period of oppressive silence, Xie Bingyin suddenly turned around and called Zhao Ma, with a hint of uneasiness in her voice. Zhao Ma, did he sew Su Mo's shoes? Aunt Zhao nodded. Yes, ma'am. The young master tore his sneakers while playing basketball about a year ago, and he sewed them himself and has been wearing them ever since. Xie Bingyin's face turned pale immediately, and she turned to glare at her father, Su Deming. You didn't buy him shoes? But the father frowned and shot back. Isn't this your responsibility? Everyone looked at each other, and Su Wanting suddenly realized that the whole family had never really cared about this child. She swallowed her saliva and said in a low and firm voice, Mom, maybe he didn't live the life we imagined. For 4 years, Sumo was like an invisible man at home, and no one really cared about his life. With 500 yuan in pocket money and worn-out shoes and clothes, his life was obviously different from what everyone imagined. But when everyone treated him as a burden and a laughing stock, who really understood his situation, Su Wanting took a deep breath, her inner uneasiness becoming more intense. We must find him back. Perhaps he has never really had enough to eat or been clothed warmly here with us. She recalled how cautious Su Mo had been over the years. He had been a timid orphan, and after coming to the Su family, he walked on thin ice, afraid of offending anyone. But in return, he received endless ridicule and punishment. At this time, Zhao Ma sighed softly. Miss Suemo was an orphan before. He is different from others. This simple fact was like a knife, stabbing into Su Wanting's heart. Orphan different. Everyone knew he was an orphan, but they never really understood what these 4 words meant to Suemo. He has been punished and scolded so many times at home, even made to stand in the corner and be confined. Why didn't we think there was anything wrong? Su Wanting finally understood that Suemo was not a loser. He had been silently trying to survive, struggling to stay alive in this cold mansion. Su Wanting stood up, determined. I must go find him. I can't let him bear all this alone. Chapter 7, That's Just the Smell of Mom. Su Wanting stood at the stairs, her heart beating violently. After hearing what Zhao Ma had just said, her mind was in a mess. Orphans are different, she murmured in a low voice, and an unsettling guess suddenly popped up in her mind. Annie Zhao, where's the orphanage where Su Mo used to live? She asked hurriedly. It's in the orphanage in the east of the city, not far away. Zhao Ma replied. Su Wanting said nothing more and hurried downstairs. Her emotions fluctuated greatly, and even her eyes were red. She hurriedly started the sports car and sped towards the East City Orphanage. Along the way, Su Wanting's thoughts were in a mess, and Su Mo's thin figure kept appearing in her mind. When he was a child, he was always timid and cowardly. Now thinking back, all his weird behaviors seemed to have some explanation. An hour later, Su Wanting arrived at the East City Orphanage. She bought some food and gifts, and after explaining her purpose to the gatekeeper, she was allowed to pass smoothly. The director was a kind, middle-aged woman. Seeing Su Wanting bringing the donated materials, she was very happy and warmly entertained her. Dean, I want to ask, do you still remember Su Mo? Su Wanting asked tentatively. Su Mo? A thin little boy. Of course I remember him. He was a good boy, but he was taken away by his parents 4 years ago. The dean recalled with a smile. Su Wanting nodded, but her heart was filled with mixed emotions. Dean, what is the life of orphans like in normal times? Do they cry? The director smiled bitterly and replied, Of course they cry. Most of these children are orphans, and some have been abandoned several times. They often cry and miss their parents. Especially when it gets dark, they get scared and even sleep with their tattered dolls, as if that is their only support. When Su Wanting heard this, her heart suddenly tightened. She suddenly understood many of Su Mo's behaviors, and they were pieced together in her mind like a puzzle. He once secretly went to his mother's room and slept on her bed. Su Wanting murmured, tears streaming down her face unconsciously. She finally understood that Su Mo might just want a little sense of security, longing to be noticed and hugged. Thinking back to these years, Su Mo always stayed quietly in the corner of the house, doing everything carefully, and even when approaching them, there was fear in her eyes. Her heart was suddenly deeply hurt. Back in the car, Su Wanting still couldn't calm down. She remembered that she had been part of that ruthless family, and had laughed at Su Mo and ignored all his calls for help. All the way home, her mood was as chaotic as a hurricane. When she got home, she saw her parents still sitting in the living room, as if nothing had happened. Her third sister, Su Manny, was lazily watching TV on the sofa. Manny, come with me, Su Wanting said coldly. Su Manny was stunned, not understanding why her sister suddenly became so serious, but she followed her upstairs reluctantly. When they reached the 3rd floor, Su Wanting stretched out her hand and said, Hand over Su Mo's phone. Ah, how did you know? Su Manny was stunned, but under her sister's gaze, she didn't dare to say anything more and took out her mobile phone obediently. Su Wanting held the phone in her hand, and a grief she had never felt before surged in her heart. She suddenly realized that Su Mo had been living in this cold-blooded family, enduring endless loneliness and neglect, and she was actually a part of it. She closed her eyes and tried to hold back her tears, but she found that the suffocating feeling in her heart was getting stronger and stronger. Perhaps Suemo was not wrong. He just wanted to feel a little warmth. Chapter 8. This rebellious son has become lawless. Sumo's mind flashed to the pretty and clean girl with a high ponytail, Gu Huanqi. Her voice came from the other end of the phone, full of expectation. Suemo, we believe you. The storm will stop tomorrow, and the price of live shrimp and crabs will definitely increase. Don't worry, Huanqi, Suemo said with a smile. The storm is so strong that the fishing boats and shrimp ponds must be damaged. Just wait, you will definitely make a lot of money tomorrow. Gu Huanqi said excitedly. That's great. Tang Lei, Banzwang, and I have all invested 3,000 yuan. We all hope to earn some living expenses this time. These words made Suemo feel warm in his heart. Gu Huanqi, Tang Lei, and Li Banzwang were his friends in the orphanage, and their relationship was closer than that of his family. Although he was later taken back by the Su family, the feelings between them had never changed. After hanging up the phone, Suemo continued to concentrate on doing the questions. He wanted to go all out for the college entrance examination because it was his only chance to get out of the predicament. At the same time, in the luxurious living room of the Su family, the atmosphere was somewhat tense. The police had just brought the latest news about Sumo's disappearance. Surveillance footage shows that after Suemo left the community, he took bus number 956 and got off at Bin Road on the outskirts of the city. However, follow-up surveillance videos have not yet been obtained, the police explained. Xie Bingyan was so angry that her face turned blue. Why would he go to the suburbs? Isn't it a rural area? He just likes to hang out with those bad friends. Su Wanting watched the video and felt an inexplicable uneasiness in her heart. She saw Suemo wearing a worn-out school uniform and a pair of sneakers that had been sewn several times, and suddenly felt that the gap between him and other children in the family was so big. She couldn't help but ask, Mom, doesn't Suemo have a driver and a special car? Xie Bingyan snorted disdainfully. He can't get into the number 1 middle school in the city, so why should he enjoy these treatments? Let's talk about it after he can get in. Su Wanting's heart tightened, realizing that Sumo's status in the family was far from what she had imagined. He was ignored, neglected, and even lacked the most basic care. 2 days later, when the storm had passed, Suemo finally took action. He went to the seafood market to inquire about prices, and as expected, the prices of crabs and shrimps had skyrocketed. It has at least doubled, from 20 yuan to more than 40 yuan per pound, Gu Huanqi said excitedly. Suemo was delighted and immediately directed everyone. Let's split up and go to different vegetable markets to sell. Hurry up and sell as much as we can. Several young people quickly got busy, setting up stalls to sell live shrimps and crabs. Suemo looked at his 300 kilograms of live goods, and his heart was full of expectations. This money was not only their living expenses, but also a proof of their hard work. On the other side, Su Wanting finally got news about Suemo, and she rushed to the Anchi Road vegetable market in person. The chaos and dirtiness of the vegetable market made the rich lady feel sick. She covered her nose as she walked into the market and saw a familiar figure. Suemo was busy weighing and greeting customers, completely ignoring the stains on his body. Suemo! She finally couldn't help but shout. Suemo looked up with a cold expression. What are you doing here? We are looking for you. You have been missing for so many days, and everyone is worried to death. Su Wanting said anxiously. Looking for me? Ah, what a joke. Suemo sneered and continued to pack his things. I'm very busy and don't have time to play with you. Su Wanting felt a sharp pain in her heart when she heard his cold tone. She wanted to hold Suemo back and stop him from leaving. Suemo, you must come home with me. Go home. Suemo sneered. Do you think I still have a home? After saying that, Suemo broke free from her hand and turned to leave. However, something unexpected happened. He suddenly staggered and fell to the ground. Suemo! Su Wanting exclaimed, rushed over to support him, her heart filled with fear. The Suemo in front of her was so thin and haggard, completely unlike the brother she remembered. Chapter 9, You Can't Escape Retribution. Su Wanting stood outside the hospital anxiously, waiting for the doctor's diagnosis. Her heart was cold. Sumo's sudden fainting caught her off guard. The doctor's words after he came out shocked her even more. No big problem, but there are many problems. Head inflammation, malnutrition, anemia, and heart problems. Every word of the doctor was like a heavy hammer hitting her heart. She looked at the sign sheet in her hand and couldn't help but shed tears. Suemo, who she had always treated as a little brother that she could manipulate at will, was so thin and weak in front of her. He had endured all the teasing in the past silently without complaining. After Sumo woke up, he showed no excitement, but a cold expression. He calmly packed his belongings and prepared to leave. Facing his sister's concern, he just said calmly, "Thank you for sending me to the hospital. Here are the medical expenses." Then he handed over the money with a resolute attitude. "There is no relationship between us anymore. No need to see each other again." Sumo's words were chilling and cut into Sue Wanning's heart like a knife. She hurriedly held him back, not wanting him to leave. "Mom and Dad are still waiting for you to come back." Sumo sneered, his eyes full of sarcasm. "Go back? Why go back? Let you humiliate me again? Or let you post my embarrassment to the WeChat group for people to laugh at?" After he said that, he turned and left, and Sue Wanning's hands froze in the air. He knows. Sue Wanning's heart suddenly sank. It turned out that Sumo knew all the jokes they made on him in the sister WeChat group. Those jokes that she thought were insignificant have now become the deepest scars in Sumo's heart. His words, "evil will be punished," echoed in her mind like a spell, making her whole body cold. When Sue Wanting returned home, she felt strange facing the happy family scene. They had never really cared about Sumo's feelings, and no one even cared when he disappeared for a few days. She began to realize how much she had neglected and hurt Sumo. Holding Sumo's old phone, Sue Wanting hesitated, but finally opened it. His phone was full of her photos and chat records, all of which were him sharing her excellence and achievements with his friends. She saw Sumo proudly introducing her to his friends as an excellent sister, his words full of admiration and pride. "It would be great if I could be 1/10 as good as my sister." These words pierced Sue Wanting's heart like a sharp sword. She never thought that Sumo, who once admired her, would become so resolute and indifferent under her neglect and teasing. Tears blurred her vision, and she covered her mouth to stop herself from crying. The little brother she once regarded as a burden once admired her so much and hoped to be recognized by her. But she only heard him again and again. At this moment, she truly understood that the words, "It's not that I don't want to retaliate. It's just that the time has not come yet," were not only Sumo's accusation against them, but also the self-blame and regret in her heart. Chapter 10, My Eldest Sister is My Idol. Sue Wanting stood in the room, her whole body trembling, tears blurring her vision. She tried to hold back her tears, but couldn't control them. Looking through Sumo's old phone, the words on the screen were like sharp blades piercing her heart. Every word made her feel extremely painful and regretful. "This is the third time I've met my elder sister. She's really amazing. She graduated from Peking University and Tsinghua University and studied abroad at MIT. She's the CEO of a company at a young age. Huanxi, Tang Lei, my elder sister, is the best person in the world." Sumo's tone was full of pride, and his words were full of admiration for her. Every time he mentioned Sue Wanting, Sumo showed undisguised appreciation and admiration. Seeing this, Sue Wanting's heart seemed to be grasped by an invisible hand, and it became difficult for her to breathe. She turned to the next message, and Sumo wrote regretfully, "I wanted to go see my eldest sister at work, but the security guard wouldn't let me in. It doesn't matter, I'll be able to go up next time, and my eldest sister will not refuse to see me." The message sent by Sumo was still full of expectations and longings. But Sue Wanting clearly remembered that day. She just asked the security guard to keep Sumo out of the door, and she was too lazy to even see him. "My elder sister worked overtime until very late today and had a bad stomach. I cooked some porridge to nourish her body." However, she handed the bowl of porridge to her secretary and poured it away. Sumo must have thought that she drank it and was still foolishly happy for her. Seeing this, Sue Wanting could no longer hold back her tears and lay on the bed crying. Sumo treasured the care that she once disdained in his heart. He tried to get close to her countless times and expressed his care and love for her countless times in insignificant ways, but she pushed him away again and again, and even laughed at and despised him. "My elder sister threw away the baby's breath I gave her, and I picked it up. She didn't like it, but I will give her a better gift." This message from Sumo made Sue Wanting completely collapse. She suddenly rushed to the room, opened the drawer, and saw the baby's breath crystal ball that she had thrown away. She remembered that birthday. Sumo carefully gave this cheap gift, but she just threw it into the trash can coldly. She never thought that Sumo would pick it up and keep it in his room. "Evil deeds will be punished. It's not that the time has not come yet, but that you will get retribution sooner or later." Sumo's words kept echoing in her ears. At this moment, she finally understood that the brother who once admired her had completely disappointed her. The light in his eyes disappeared, replaced by indifference and dead silence. She could have been the light in Su Mo's heart and the driving force for his progress, but she destroyed it all with her own hands. She was no longer his idol, but the deepest scar in his heart. Chapter 11, Who Made Mom's Dress Dirty? Inside the rental house, the laughter of several people was full of joy and excitement. After a busy day, Su Mo and Tang Lei finally sold most of the live shrimps and crabs and made a lot of money. Tang Lei was excited. Su Mo, you are really good. I didn't expect the price to really increase this time. We made a lot of money. Gu Huanqi was wearing a simple school uniform, but she couldn't hide her excitement. Yes, I invested 3,000 yuan, and I made more than 6,000 this time, which is doubled. Before she finished speaking, Li Banzwang also joined in. We all made money this time. We are so happy. Su Mo smiled and raised his glass, saying calmly, It's not over yet. Let's go to the wholesale market tomorrow. I saw on the news that bananas and other crops have been affected. The price will definitely double in a few days. Tang Lei's eyes widened after hearing this. Double it? Su Mo nodded. Yes, the money we earn this time is enough for us to survive for a few months. You don't have to work in the cafeteria anymore. Just prepare for the college entrance examination. Let's work hard together and go to college together. The atmosphere was high, but suddenly, the smile on Gu Huanqi's face gradually disappeared, and she asked softly, Su Mo, are you really not going back to the Su family? This question made Su Mo's expression instantly cold. He looked out the window with a complicated expression. I'm not going back. Don't ask why. Our current goal is to take the college entrance examination, make money, and change our destiny. Seeing this, Gu Huanqi couldn't help but feel sad. Su Mo, you still have us? Tang Lei also patted Su Mo on the shoulder and said with a smile, Yes, brother, you still have us. Su Mo's eyes flashed with tenderness, and he smiled. Yes, I still have you. As for those blood relations, what do they mean? Come, drink to your heart's content today, and continue to struggle tomorrow. The four of them drank and chatted together. The atmosphere was pleasant and warm. Su Mo looked at his friends in front of him, and memories of his previous life emerged in his mind. In his previous life, after his death, Tang Lei, Gu Huanqi, and Li Banzwang all lived well, especially Gu Huanqi, who became a nationally renowned elite lawyer. And now, Su Mo is standing at the turning point of his fate again, determined to change everything. Late at night, the four of them sat down to review the questions. Su Mo calmly tutored them. Although Gu Huanqi and the others' grades were average, he believed that he could help them improve. After all, he was reborn and knew the knowledge for the college entrance examination. Su Mo, with your guidance, we will definitely do well in the exam. Tang Lei was full of confidence. Gu Huanqi was a little worried. Will it delay your studies? Su Mo smiled and shook his head. No, let's study together, make progress together, and go to college together in the future. The three of them smiled at each other, secretly sighing at Su Mo's change. They all knew that Su Mo's life in the Su family was not easy. Although the Su family was rich, they were extremely harsh to Su Mo. And now, Su Mo has obviously decided to make a clean break with the past. The next day, after finishing all her work, Su Wanting returned home with a lot of thoughts in her mind. She watched her parents and sisters chatting and laughing in the living room, but her heart became colder. She knew that Su Mo was selling crabs outside to make a living, but they didn't care about their brother at all. She dialed the number. Xuehue, come to my room. Soon, the second sister, Su Xuehue, walked into the room. Su Wanting asked directly, 7 days ago, was it Su Mo who stained Mom's dress? Su Xuehue's face changed, and she answered hesitantly, Sister, it was Juanja who stained it, and we just asked Su Mo to replace it. Su Wanting's face was cold, and she was extremely angry. She knew that the oppression and injustice of this family towards Su Mo had made him disheartened. She finally realized that the brother who once admired and worshipped her was pushed into the abyss of despair by their own hands. Su Mo is not coming back. He no longer belongs to this family. Su Wanting's voice was filled with sadness. Chapter 12, If you don't want others to know, then don't do it yourself. Su Wanting looked at her sister Su Xuehue and sneered. Xuehue, how much salary can you get a month? 20,000, right? But do you know? Mom only gives Su Mo 500 yuan a month. 500 yuan. Is our Su family short of money? Su Xuehue frowned. She didn't know that Su Mo's living expenses were so low. She was also shocked when she heard this number from her mother Xiebingyan a few days ago. She always thought that her family at least gave Su Mo a lot of money. After all, he was their biological brother. Su Wanting continued to lower her voice. Has anyone bought him clothes? Shoes? I asked the third sister. She said that Su Mo never asked her for help. Why should she buy things for him? But he doesn't even have enough money for food every month. How dare he ask you? Su Xuehue opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Su Wanting. Xuehue, you are also one of them. Her voice was filled with gritted teeth and anger. Su Xuehue was puzzled and looked nervous. Sister, what exactly do you want to say? Why don't I understand? Su Wanting sneered. Do you really not understand? Or do you not want to understand? Su Mo has lived in our house for 4 years, which is worse than that of an orphanage. Su Xuehue widened her eyes in surprise. What? Su Wanting took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in her heart. Do you still remember the first time Su Mo went to your school? Did he sneak into your classroom to listen to the class, but was driven out by the students? Su Xuehue recalled and nodded awkwardly. Yes, he was misunderstood by the students and was beaten. But that was just a small matter. He shouldn't have come to school and scared my classmates. They thought he was my boyfriend. She downplayed it, as if all the injuries were insignificant. The tears in Su Wanting's eyes finally couldn't be held back and fell. Do you know why he went to your school? He just wanted to be close to you and see you as his sister. But what did he get? Beating, scolding, and driving away. Her voice was full of anger and sadness. What on earth is he in our family? Su Wanting's voice was cold and sharp. Has anyone given him warmth? He is just an orphan who is treated like trash by his family. Su Xuehue was stunned, looking flustered, not knowing how to respond to this sudden accusation. She had never seriously thought about this issue until this moment. She realized what a cruel role she played in Su Mo's life. How could we be so cold-blooded towards our own brother? Su Wanting burst into tears. He is our blood brother, but we have no mercy on him at all. A feeling of fear gradually welled up in Su Xuehue's heart. Recalling all the ridicule and cold treatment she had shown Su Mo in the past, she finally realized how big a mistake she had made. Su Wanting slowly took out a medical record from the drawer and handed it to her. I went to the hospital to see Su Mo. He is anemic, malnourished, and has heart problems. In our family, no one even cares about Su Mo when he is sick. Su Xuehue took the medical record and her face turned pale instantly. I thought he wasn't that bad. Su Wanting smiled bitterly. How can he be fine? You make fun of him every day and even mock him in the sister group. Do you know? He has seen what you said in the group a long time ago. Her tone was full of accusations. Su Xuehue shuddered, and the color on her face faded. He knew? Impossible. How could he know? If you don't want others to know, then don't do it yourself. Su Wanting glared at her fiercely. He knows all your malice and ridicule, which is why he decided to leave home. Su Xuehue's eyes flashed with panic, and she was stunned. She never thought that her unintentional teasing would become the last straw that broke Su Mo's back. She took Su Mo's phone from Su Wanting, which contained many unread messages and diaries. She flipped through the pages tremblingly, and a message caught her eye. Huanqi, look, this is my second sister. She is as pretty as my eldest sister, a top student at Nanjing University, and has released an album. Su Xuehue's face turned pale instantly. She looked at Su Mo's words full of admiration, her fingers trembling, and she finally couldn't help but cry. Chapter 13. Why is Su Mo malnourished? At that time, Su Mo's eyes were always full of light, especially when he looked at them. The excitement that could not be concealed was still fresh in Su Xuehue's memory. He even secretly went to her university to listen to her classes, full of admiration and yearning. Su Xuehue had released several albums, which were her self-made music works. Although they were not well known, they had already gained some fame in the small circle. Su Mo didn't know where he got her album from, and he actually downloaded it to his mobile phone to listen to it secretly. Su Xuehue suddenly felt her throat dry. She remembered what her elder sister had just said and didn't know how to respond for a moment. Sister, is Su Mo's health really that bad? She asked in a low voice. Su Wanting nodded, her face heavy with worry. He was severely anemic, had long-term malnutrition, and had problems with blood supply to his heart. The police told me that he rented a house in a slum on the outskirts of the city and made a living by selling crabs and shrimps. What? Su Xuehue's eyes widened in shock. How could he fall to this point? Maybe it's to earn some living expenses. Su Wanting sighed faintly. He only has 500 yuan a day for living expenses, which is not enough. Su Xuehue was speechless. She had never thought that Sumo's life would be so difficult. She had always thought that the family was well off and that no child would have a hard time, but the facts slapped her in the face. She quietly left her eldest sister's room and returned to her bed, her mind in a mess. Sumo's figure, his once brilliant eyes, the cold eyes that the sisters had given him. Everything flashed back in front of her like a movie. The more she thought about it, the more horrible it became, and the more she thought about it, the more unbearable it became. Sumo had been missing for several days. But there was no tense atmosphere at home, as if everyone had selectively ignored his existence. It was not until Su Juinja returned to school that Xie Bingyan and Su Deming finally realized that something was wrong and hurriedly contacted the police. "Boss, what's going on? Did you find Su Mo yesterday?" Xie Bingyan asked angrily. "He's not missing, he just moved out." Su Wanning sighed. "Move out? Move to where?" This unfilial son is getting more and more outrageous. Xie Bingyan was so angry that her face turned blue. He rented a house in the slums on the outskirts of the city. He probably never wants to go home again, Su Wanning said lightly, with a look of deep fatigue on her face. "How dare he?" Xie Bingyan slammed the table angrily. "Has he grown wings? Can he survive on his own? Mom, do you know that he is sick? Have you been to his school?" Su Wanning couldn't help but ask. Xie Bingyan was stunned, then waved her hand dismissively. "What disease could he have? He usually pretends to be so decent. I'm afraid he is lying to us again." Su Wanning sighed and handed over the hospital's medical records. "He is really sick. He is anemic, malnourished, has heart problems, and even the wound on his head is inflamed. The doctor said he needs long-term care." Xie Bingyan and Su Deming took the medical records, and their expressions suddenly became complicated. "Is he really living such a miserable life?" Xie Bingyan murmured to herself. However, before they could say anything more, Su Wanning stood up and said calmly, "Mom and Dad, I have something else to do, so I'll go to the company first." After leaving home, the sun shone on her face, illuminating her tired look. Su Wanning felt a little warmth, but the haze in her heart did not dissipate. She knew that the real reason Su Mo ran away from home was not just because of her sisters, but because of her parents. Chapter 14, The Elder Sister That I Admire in My Heart. Su Wanning sighed. "Mom, have you forgotten that you and Dad had already signed the document to sever your relationship?" "What?" Xie Bingyan was furious. "So, what if he signed it? He thought he could escape from my grasp like this? Dream on." "But Mom," Su Wanning said helplessly, "you don't give him food or clothes, and you don't even give him pocket money. He suffers a lot at home. What do you want to do by bringing him back? Are you going to trap him to death at home?" Xie Bingyan laughed in anger. "What nonsense are you talking about? He is my own son. Of course I have to take care of him. Can I let him continue to wander around outside? He is young and bad habits are hard to change. If he is not strictly disciplined, he will only become more and more lawless in the future." Su Wanning felt a chill in her heart when she heard her mother's words. She might have thought her mother was right before, but now these cold words made her heart ache. "Mom," Su Wanning clenched her teeth, tears finally overflowing from her eyes. "Do you really hate him that much? What on earth did he do to offend you that made you want to kill him? What nonsense are you talking about? I'm doing this for his own good." Xie Bingyan slammed the table and angrily shouted, "Those bad habits of his must be eradicated." Su Wanning smiled bitterly, tears silently falling. "Mom, you have succeeded. He is not coming home." After saying that, Su Wanning hung up the phone and finally couldn't stop her tears from flowing out. Seeing this, Xie Bingyan became even more angry and shouted, "Su Deming, look at your daughter. She actually dared to hang up my phone. This is simply against the sky." Not long after, Xie Bingyan called Su Xuehue again. "Second brother, do you know where Su Mo went?" Su Xuehue was shocked. "Mom, I don't know either. Ask your eldest sister." "She actually hung up on me?" Xie Bingyan was furious. "Mom, don't be angry. Maybe my elder sister has something urgent to do." Su Xuehue consoled her. After hanging up the phone, Su Xuehue anxiously looked through the unread messages on her phone and hesitated to click on the records left by Su Mo. Her heart was filled with mixed emotions, fear and regret. Meanwhile, Su Wanning sat alone in the room, reopened her phone, and browsed through Su Mo's old posts. She saw a post that said, "Big sister, take me out for a trip." The accompanying picture was a photo of the park that Su Mo secretly took and every detail in the photo recorded their pastime. My eldest sister said she was afraid to ride the roller coaster. Ice cream from my elder sister. The comments on each photo deeply hurt Sue Wanning's heart. She remembered that on that trip, the ice cream was originally for Sue Juinja, but Sue Juinja didn't want to eat it, so Sue Mo took it with joy, as if he had found a priceless treasure. She frowned at the time and felt that he was unhygienic and felt a little disgusted. Looking at these memories now, Sue Wanting felt as if her heart was being torn apart by a knife. Sue Mo had once adored her so much and regarded her as the light of his life. But she had coldly ignored his existence and pushed him into despair again and again. I turned to a post he wrote, "My elder sister is my pride and my role model." Tears flowed uncontrollably from Sue Wanting's eyes. She covered her mouth, squatted on the ground, and cried bitterly. Chapter 15. But in the long run, it has been rising. When Mo saw Sue Wanting and Sue Shuehui getting out of the sports car, he felt sick. He looked at them coldly, his heart filled with disgust. Ban's Wang, Tang Lei, you guys go back to class first. I have something to deal with. Sue Mo turned to his companions and said. Tang Lei and the others nodded. Although they understood the clues of the matter, they did not ask any more questions and left. Sue Wanting walked forward quickly, her voice filled with anxiety. Sue Mo, where have you been these days? We have been looking for you. Come home with us first. Sue Mo stood still, looking at them coldly, with a hint of mockery on his face. You came to me just for this thing, didn't you? He took out an old-fashioned tape recorder and a few tapes from his backpack and stuffed them directly into Sue Shuehui's hands. Take it back. I'll give it back to you, and there should be no relationship between us anymore. Sue Shuehui was stunned for a moment, looking at the recorder in her hand, with mixed feelings in her heart. This was her favorite thing 2 years ago, and she hinted many times at that time that she wanted to take it back, but she didn't expect Sue Mo to take the initiative to return it to her today. Sue Mo's words hurt her heart, and she had no way to defend herself for a while. Sue Mo, the tape recorder thing is not important at all. We are here to take you home. Sue Wanting tried to save the embarrassing situation and explained hurriedly. Go home. Sue Mo sneered, his eyes full of mockery. What are you going to do? To see you continue to sneer at me? Or do you want me to continue to be your laughing stock? Don't be like this. We are really worried about you. A trace of helplessness flashed in Sue Wanting's eyes. Worried. Sue Mo's tone became even colder. In my eyes, you are just sisters in name only. When I was in the orphanage, at least I had friends who cared about me. But in the Sue family, I am nothing but a burden to you. Sue Wanting was heartbroken by these words. She wanted to defend herself, but facing Sue Mo's cold eyes, she was speechless for a moment. Once upon a time, Sue Mo was full of admiration for her, but she always ignored his existence. Sue Mo, we really know we were wrong. Please go back with us. Sue Shuehui finally spoke, her voice filled with pleading. Sue Mo smiled coldly. Do you know you are wrong? You are just doing it for your own good. If I go back, what awaits me is nothing but more indifference and contempt. Today, your concern ends here. I don't need it. After saying that, he turned and left without looking back, leaving two figures standing there frozen. Chapter 16. My family is all dead. Sue Mo, sister, I'm sorry. Sue Wanting's eyes turned red, and she wanted to speak. Don't! Sue Mo hurriedly stopped her from speaking. Don't come here and pretend to be crying wolf to me. I know what you want to do. You want to use me to win credit in front of Sue Juinja. This is impossible. I tell you, Sue Wanting and Sue Shuehui, you'd better never appear in front of me. Otherwise, you will suffer retribution sooner or later. Sue Mo, why do you talk like that? Sue Shuehui was surprised. What should I say? Kneel down and beg you? My beautiful second daughter of the Sue family. Sue Mo stared at her coldly. You don't think I have no memory, do you? This is not the first time you have taken credit in front of Sue Juinja, right? You. Sue Shuehui was surprised. I didn't. We just want you to go back. Come home with us first. Go home with you? Sue Mo laughed immediately, full of sarcasm. Miss Sue Shuehui, is your brain broken? Or do you have no brain? Why should I go home with you? Who are you? I tell you, I have not forgotten anything your Sue family has done. Don't think it will be so easy to let it go. Sue Wanting was shocked. Sue Mo, we really came here to call you home. Mom and Dad are looking for you. You'd better go back with us. Sue Mo stared at Sue Wanting. Sue Wanting, you will be punished. Sue Wanting was shocked and immediately stunned. After saying that, Sumo didn't want to say any more. He walked away from them and headed forward. Sumo. Su Shuehue was immediately furious. Mom and Dad are already angry? You dare to leave? Mom and Dad asked you to go home first. Sumo looked back at her and laughed. Tell you, Su Shuehue, I've been an orphan since I was a child. I am not afraid of wearing shoes even if I am barefoot. If you Su family members dare to bully me, I am not afraid of blood splattering 5 steps away. You listen to me carefully. Remember clearly. I am an orphan. My family members are all dead. They're all dead. They were all dead 18 years ago. Su Shuehue's delicate body shook violently, and her eyes widened rapidly. Don't bother me if there's nothing wrong. I'm afraid that the more you come, the more retributions you will suffer, and you can't escape reincarnation. After Su Mo finished speaking, he turned and left. Su Wanning's face turned pale, and she didn't dare to stop him for a moment. She only felt her body trembling. Su Shuehue's expression also changed drastically. Su Mo entered the school quickly, but the two were unable to go in and felt a chill in their hearts. They didn't know how they got back to the car. They were suddenly plunged into deathly silence and felt the air around them was extremely cold. They didn't expect Su Mo to speak like this, so harshly, so extreme, and full of hatred. How can this be the timid younger brother who used to be in the Su family? I still remember that when Su Mo was at the Su family, he was always smiling and fawning. Even when he was scolded by his mother Xie Bingyan, he could still tell them with a smile that he was not a problem. I still remember that last year our family finally went out for a trip, but because the third child, Su Manny, and Su Mo's cell phones were hidden, they were unable to contact their family. They had originally agreed to wait at the entrance of the scenic spot, but because Su Juinja suddenly fell ill, the family left Su Mo behind and hurriedly sent Su Juinja to the hospital without anyone waiting for him. At that time, he walked more than 10 kilometers alone and wanted to walk back. When he was sent back by the police, he could still smile and tell everyone that he was fine and that he was sorry for getting lost and making everyone worry. At that time, the sisters were still laughing at each other. At this point, he was almost cursing at them. How desperate must he be to say that his entire family is dead? Su Wanning didn't dare to think about it. Sister, Su Mo seems, Su Shuehue said with difficulty. So strange. Su Wanning sniffed. Do you want to go back by yourself, or should I take you back? Aren't we going in to find him? Su Shuehue was surprised. What are you still looking for now? I still have things to do, and need to go to the company first. Su Wanning just felt upset and didn't want to talk. Su Shuehue also fell silent. Su Wanning said, take a look at the records. Take a look at it yourself anyway. As she said that, she started the car, first sent Su Shuehue to her home, and then drove to work at the company herself. She hadn't finished reading most of the records. The closer she got to the end, the more horrifying what Su Mo wrote seemed, so she didn't dare to continue reading. It would be nice to let Su Shuehue take a look at it. Su Shuehue stood at the door of the Su family villa, watching Su Wanning leave, and a panic arose in her heart. She more or less understood what her elder sister said, but it was difficult for her to accept it for the moment. And just now, Su Mo's words completely shocked her. He was practically cursing them all to death. How can these be brothers and sisters? But like an enemy. At least Su Mo already regarded them as enemies. Su Shuehue returned home. There was no one at home. My parents were out, and my third sister Su Manny was not at home either. She is an actress and singer and has her own schedule. After returning to the room and lying on the bed to rest for a while, Su Shuehue couldn't stand the irritability in her heart anymore. So she took out her mobile phone and opened the message Su Wanting sent her. There was quite a lot of content inside, which had been sorted out by Su Wanting, and a copy was sent to her. Su Shuehue took a quick look yesterday and didn't dare to continue watching. She couldn't accept it in her heart. However, now, she could only continue watching seriously. Perhaps they are indeed cold-blooded. Or maybe they find it hard to accept such a brother. This is my second sister, Su Shuehue, a music teacher in college. My second sister, Su Shuehue, has released a music album. Tang Lei, I'll send it to you. You can listen to it. These are the songs my second sister composed herself. A song sung for my family. Su Shuehue knew the song. It was called Warm Harbor. The lyrics said that home was the only harbor, full of warmth and tenderness. The world was big, but home was small, and love was the only support. It was a song she wrote when she was 19 years old, with a theme of family. After it was released, the response was mediocre. No one knew where Suemo found it, but he actually shared it with his friends. My second sister likes to eat glutinous rice balls. My second sister likes to collect postcards. My second sister likes beautiful skirts. My second sister also likes to eat cake. Today, when I was mopping the floor, it turned out to be too slippery, and my second sister almost fell. I really deserve to die. The last post was followed by several tearful emojis. Su Shuehue was stunned for a moment and remembered this incident. At that time, Sumo was helping the maid with housework at home. She volunteered to mop the floor in the living room. When she went downstairs, she slipped and almost fell down, her face pale with fright. When Su Shuehue saw that the culprit was Su Mo, she flew into a rage and immediately called him over and scolded him, mocking him for liking mopping the floor so much. She suggested that he mop the entire villa clean, and if he failed to do so, he would not be allowed to rest. At that time, Su Shuehue's words were just spoken in anger, but Su Mo seemed to take it seriously. After she finished speaking, she hurried to school for class. About 5 or 6 days later, a video of the fourth brother was sent to the group saying that Su Mo had really mopped the entire building clean. The fourth and fifth sisters also mocked Su Mo for being so proactive, probably thinking that he was trying to please Xie Bingyin and Su Deming so that their sisters would look down on him. It is said that after mopping the floor, Su Mo's face turned pale and sweat broke out on his head. He could only lie on the bed to rest and went to sleep without eating. At that time, Su Shuehue didn't take it seriously and just thought it was what she deserved. I was too lazy to explain to the fourth and fifth brothers because it was her request. At this time, Su Shuehue took a deep breath and her face turned pale. She continued reading. My second sister's car is so beautiful. It seems to be called a Porsche. Attached are a few photos of the Porsche. However, the angles of these photos taken by Su Mo are rather tricky. Most of them were taken upstairs, quite far away from the Porsche, and it seems that he did not dare to get close to the car. My second sister drove out to attend class. My second sister drove home, and her car was covered in mud and water. My second sister told my eldest sister that her car was not driving well, and she wanted to change it. My second sister's car was scratched, and she scratched someone else. There's a lot of information on it. Su Shuehue almost suffocated. She knew Su Mo liked this car very much. In the past, when Su Mo saw her car, he once ran over stealthily and wanted to touch it, but when Su Shuehue saw it, she became furious and directly scolded him, not allowing him to touch it. If you dare to touch my car, I will beat you to death. Don't touch my car. You're dirty. You're dirty all over. If you dare to touch my car again, I will chop off your hands. I still remember one time, Su Mo saw her car parked in the yard, covered with a lot of mud and fallen leaves. After Su Mo took a look, he went to fetch a bucket of water and helped her wash the car. After he had washed himself, Su Shuehue came back furious. Without saying a word, she walked over and slapped him in the face. It was at that time that I said I would chop all his people off. After the slap, Su Mo seemed to be frightened. His face was pale, the bucket fell to the ground. He covered his cheek with his hands and said timidly, "Yes, I'm sorry, second sister, I didn't mean it. My car is dirty and it has nothing to do with you. If you dare to touch my car again, I will chop off your hands and throw them out to feed the dogs. Do you hear me? Listen, I heard it." Su Mo was panicked. His eyes were full of fear, and he seemed not to know what to do. At that time, Su Shuehue just felt relieved. When she saw this, Su Shuehue felt as if she was almost suffocating, as if something was suddenly squeezing her heart. It's my second sister's birthday. It's my second sister's birthday. A message appears. Tang Lei, I heard Aunt Zhao say that today is my second sister's birthday. My second sister likes postcards and glutinous rice balls. Come with me to look for them. Pick the best ones for my second sister. My second sister invited her friends to her house. It was her birthday, and she invited many people. They were all playing in the living room, but my second sister wouldn't let me go home. She told me to stay outside and wait until they were done playing before going back. Su Shuehue suddenly remembered something, and her body shook violently. Continue reading the next sentence. It's raining heavily outside. It's so cold. When will my second sister finish her work? Because Su Shuehue was entertaining her close friends at home and had invited many friends to attend, she did not allow Su Mo to go home and asked him to stay outside. It was raining heavily that day, and the weather was cold. Su Mo seemed to be staying in a pavilion outside his home and stayed there for most of the night. Su Shuehue still remembers what happened that day. They were singing, playing games, making a lot of noise, singing and laughing together in the living room. It was a very lively place. She completely forgot that she had a younger brother waiting outside for their birthday party to end. The reason was that she felt that he was embarrassing, and she didn't want to introduce this brother to her friends and girlfriends, fearing that Suemo would make her lose face. Su Shuehue suddenly felt her nose a little sour. She didn't think she was being excessive before, but after all, he was so dirty, it was really shameful. However, looking back now, I realized that I was really too much, and it was a waste of my time as a top student studying abroad. Su Shuehue remembered that she had slapped Su Mo in the face. That was the second time she hosted a dinner party for her best friend at home. When she invited her best friend to come over, Su Mo suddenly appeared from the second floor and was seen by her best friend. The best friend didn't know who he was, so she asked Su Shuehue to introduce him. Su Shuehue said he was a maid's child and did not admit that Su Mo was her brother. At that time, Su Mo seemed to feel a little embarrassed and did not explain too much. However, the best friend thought Su Mo was interesting and played a trick on him. She suddenly spilled wine on the ground and asked him to come and clean it up. She also deliberately acted carelessly and let the wine spill all over him. Suemo was not angry, he just felt embarrassed. When his best friend saw him like this, she laughed at him and said that he had a good temper and was a good servant brother. Later, he ordered Su-mo to bring water, tea, food, drinks, and serve them. Su Shuehue felt insulted, especially when she saw Su-mo being fawning towards her girlfriends. She flew into a rage and went straight to Su-mo and slapped him hard in the face. "Don't get close to my bestie. I'm telling you, you embarrassed me today. You were obviously not at home. How did you show up from the room? Shame on you. You are such a disgrace. I have never seen anyone as disgraceful as you. I tell you, if I invite anyone over to my house in the future, you better get out of here. I don't want to see you ever." I only remember that when Su-mo was scolded by her, his face turned pale and he looked panic-stricken, with fear and dread in his eyes. "Yes, I'm sorry." He apologized with a horrified look on his face. Is sorry useful? If sorry is useful, what do we need the police for? I'm telling you, don't go to my school again. I don't want to see you again. Don't touch my car. You can't afford to pay for it if you damage it. Don't let my best friend see you. Get out of here. After Su Shuehue finished speaking, she went back to her room with a look of relief on her face, leaving Su-mo alone with a look of fear on his face. From that time on, he really never went to her school again, never secretly attended her classes again, and never touched her car. He only dared to watch and take pictures from afar. Those photos were all taken from a distance, and he was full of envy. Not to mention her entertaining her best friends, Su-mo never dared to meet her best friends again. "My family has all died. 18 years ago, they were all dead." Thinking back to these words, Su Shuoe trembled in her heart. Chapter 17. At worst, I can save 3 of your lives with my own. Su Shuehue looked at Su-mo's back and felt extremely shocked. She had never seen Su-mo so resolute and indifferent. He was no longer the submissive brother. With shaking hands, she dialed Su-Wanning's number. "Sister, I've read some of the records. Is it the same on your side?" Her voice trembled, as if she was grasping at the last glimmer of hope. Su-Wanning picked up the phone, hesitated for a moment, and responded in a heavy tone. "Yeah. But, sister, this is not my fault. It's his own fault." Su Shuehue's voice became weaker and weaker. She tried to argue, but she didn't know where to start. "Because of what?" Su-Wanning's voice was low and cold. "Because he is an orphan? Because he was born without a family? Shuehue, all his family members are indeed dead, including you and me." Su Shuehue was suddenly speechless. Her heart seemed to be tightly gripped, and she had difficulty breathing. "You know what? He used to admire you so much, admired all of us." Su-Wanning's voice was filled with a hint of suppressed pain. "Unfortunately now, in his heart, we are all dead." Su Shuehue suddenly felt extremely strange. The brother who was once full of admiration, expectation, and tenderness had disappeared completely, and was replaced by a stranger full of hatred. At the same time, Su-mo walked into the school with a cold heart. He looked at everything he was once familiar with, and there was no warmth in his heart. The humiliation and ridicule of the previous life now turned into endless hatred in his heart. After sitting down in the classroom, he glanced at the books on the table, and countless memories flashed through his mind. He not only wanted to get rid of the control of the Su family, but also to become a better person than Su Juinja. He knew that this road was full of thorns, but he would never look back. He smiled slightly and clenched the pen in his hand. "In this life, I only live for myself. Chapter 18. No one is allowed to give Suemo money. Suemo was walking on the way back to school, thinking about the confrontation with his family just now. Although he said it lightly, a corner of his heart still hurt. He grew up in an orphanage and never felt the warmth of a family. Even after being found and brought home by his biological parents, he was never truly accepted. Everyone in the family seemed to treat him as a non-human being. His mother, Xie Bingyan, treated him coldly and never thought of him as her own child. Instead, she treated him like an unnecessary burden. Just now, Xie Bingyan, Su Deming, and Su Wanting suddenly showed up and tried to take him home by force. However, this time, Suemo was no longer the submissive and obedient child. He was tired of swallowing his anger and living like a transparent person in this family. When Xie Bingyan attacked him, Suemo took out the dagger without hesitation and said in a cold tone, "If you dare to touch me again, I don't mind blood splattering on the spot." There was no longer the cowardice of the past in his eyes, only endless indifference and determination. Xie Bingyan was furious and shouted with gnashing teeth, "You rebellious son! How dare you lay a knife on your own mother? You will definitely regret it." Suemo smiled coldly. "Biological mother? Are you worthy? Since the day you brought me home, all my relatives have died. None of you are my family." Seeing his mother, father, and elder sister staring in astonishment, Suemo felt an indescribable sense of satisfaction. He finally spoke out the resentment and anger that had been pent up in his heart for years. They might not understand what these words meant to him at all. This was his relief, but also his resistance. He didn't care about their reactions. He no longer depended on them, nor did he need their charity. In the past few days, he made tens of thousands of yuan by reselling live shrimps and crabs, enough for him to start his new life. Suemo looked at them with contempt. "From today on, I have nothing to do with you. I will prove that I can live a better life without you." He turned and left, his back firm and unquestionable. Although there was still a trace of regret and pain in his heart, he knew that this time, he had finally gotten rid of this family that suffocated him. Su Wanting stood beside the car with a complicated look in her eyes, as if she wanted to say something, but she didn't say anything. Xie Bingyan was still furious, gritting her teeth and saying, "I must make him understand that he is nothing if he leaves our Su family." Suemo did not stop, and his figure gradually went away. Chapter 19. She can never be wrong. "I don't care what you do. You'd better not interfere with Su Mo's studies. His college entrance examination is approaching, and any disturbance is not allowed. Besides, he has told me that he has no family. He said that his family members died 18 years ago. Don't come to the school to look for him." The school leader said with a dark face when he saw that they didn't speak. Xie Bingyan said angrily, "If you don't tell me, I will call the police to solve it." "Then go contact the police." The school leaders had already determined that she was an imposter and were too lazy to pay attention to her. Xie Bingyan was furious and immediately came out to contact the police. For a big family like theirs, it was easy to contact the police, and soon several policemen came to deal with their problem. Suemo, his grades are indeed very good. He is one of the best in number 27 middle school. He is very outstanding, but he is weak and often faints due to anemia, which makes the teachers in the school very worried. His grades are among the top 200 in Xiahai City. If he performs well, he may even get the top score. He is a key student in our number 27 middle school, and he is expected to be admitted to key universities such as Tsinghua University, Peking University, and Fudan University. When the leader saw the police coming to question, he did not hide anything. "Brush." After hearing this, Xie Bingyan, Su Deming, and the other two were a little surprised. "But I don't think you are his parents. Since you are his parents, how come you don't even know his grades?" When Suemo was in the first and second year of high school, he was already one of the best students. "I've always heard that Suemo is an orphan, without a father or a mother." The school leaders still suspected the three of them. "Go out." Xie Bingyan couldn't bear to listen any longer and immediately walked out of the office. "Thank you, teacher." Su Wanting hurriedly followed Xie Bingyan and left. "Even if his grades are good, so what? He actually dared to point a knife at us. This is treason." After Xie Bingyan came out, she was still furious. Good grades don't mean anything. This time, I must make him obedient. Su Wanting stopped talking and didn't know what to say. "Let's go home first. Notify the second, third, fourth, and others that they are not allowed to give Suemo a penny. I want him to never be able to stay out there again." Xie Bingyan found it difficult to vent her anger. Su Wanting looked at her father, Su Deming. Su Deming also said, Good grades really don't mean anything. Suemo really lacks discipline. He even dared to draw a knife against his own parents. What else can he not do? Let's go back first. Find a way to discipline him. Su Wanting expected her father to make the right choice, but she didn't expect Su Deming to say that, and she didn't know what to do. Sometimes prejudice can really kill a person. Xia Bingyan will never admit her mistake. She could never be wrong. My second sister likes to eat glutinous rice balls. I made glutinous rice balls for her. I hope my second sister can let me touch that car. Her car is so cool. My second sister doesn't like eating glutinous rice balls, so she threw them in the trash can. Su Wanting and others were busy outside. Su Shuehui had returned to the school dormitory. She took out her cell phone and checked the records inside. Su Shuehui remembered those glutinous rice balls. Su Mo gave them to her several times, but she didn't want to eat them and threw them all into the trash can. I don't know how Su Mo saw it, but it seems he picked it up. At that time, Su Shuehui heard that Su Mo went to her elder sister's office and harassed her. She felt very disgusted and refused to eat his food. Thinking back on it now, Su Shuehui felt a wave of discomfort in her heart. I heard my second sister's new song, Tang Lei. My second sister wrote a new song called Listening to the Waves of the Sea. Take a listen, this song is very nice. Tang Lei, Huanxi, it would be great if we could reach the level of my second sister in the future. I think my second sister is similar to my eldest sister. Both of them are the most powerful ones. They are so outstanding. Su Shuehui could imagine that when Su Mo uttered these words, his heart must have been filled with light. In fact, at that time, Su Shuehui hated him very much and thought he was dirty. He had approached her several times, but he scolded her away. Later, she seemed to be afraid to approach him and could only observe her secretly. Needless to say, he never dared to get close to the car again. Su Shuehui felt that her eyes had turned red and she couldn't help wiping them, as if she could no longer hold back her tears. She called Su Wanting again. Sister, what did Su Mo do? Su Wanting had just finished her work and returned to the company. Upon hearing this, she said, Shuei, my parents went to find Su Mo, but Su Mo denied it. He pulled out a dagger and pointed it at my parents. My parents are very angry. Ah! Su Shuehui was surprised. When did it happen? Just now, Su Wanting said. In addition, in number 27 middle school, no one knew that Su Mo had parents. Almost all the leaders and teachers thought that Su Mo was an orphan, without a father or a mother, with no food to eat and no clothes to wear. He couldn't eat at our house, so he went to the school teacher's house to eat. I heard from the teachers at number 27 middle school that Su Mo fainted from hunger several times. Ah! Su Shuehui was surprised. So, these past few days, I've been wondering what kind of existence Su Mo is in our family. What is he doing in our family? Is our family his family? Su Wanting said calmly. I don't know. I didn't ask the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth brothers. Maybe the third brother did something even worse. Not worse than you. I still can't figure out the reason for all this. You'd better think about it too. Su Shuehui was silent and sniffed. He always wanted to touch my car, but I never let him touch it. I know. Once he secretly helped me wash the car, and I didn't want him to touch it, so I slapped him. He was very frightened, very scared and panicked at the time. Su Shuehui continued, her eyes red. I know that too. Another time, I was celebrating my birthday at home and entertaining my best friends, but I didn't allow him to go home. I made him stay outside for most of the night. It was raining heavily that day, and it was very cold. He never came home. Later I heard from Aunt Zhao that he had a fever for a day and a night before he got better, said Su Shuehui. Su Wanting was silent for a moment. Then she said, we checked the surveillance video a few days ago, and Su Mo hasn't eaten with us for a long time. It seems to have been 3 or 4 months. Mom and Dad didn't realize that he didn't come downstairs to eat. Then what is he in our family? Su Shuehui burst into tears. Yes. Who is he? Su Wanting murmured to herself, not understanding. The price of Bitcoin has soared again. Su Mo bought more than 200 pieces, nearly 300 pieces, and sold them all. This one made a profit of about 20%. In just 2 days, his assets reached 40,000 yuan. He originally wanted to take Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and the other two to make money together, but after thinking about it, he felt that he could not explain the issue of Bitcoin, so he did not take them. Su Mo also didn't want Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and the other two to be too obsessed with Bitcoin. As the college entrance examination is approaching, studying hard is the most important thing. After selling this batch, the price of Bitcoin began to fall again. Sumo estimated the extent of the decline in his mind and planned to buy it again. If nothing unexpected happens, Bitcoin will see a surge in the next few days. This time, the surge can bring a profit of more than 80%. As long as he invests all his money, he can make a lot of money again. So, Sumo was very busy, always busy trading Bitcoin and keeping an eye on the market conditions. Otherwise, I am doing exams and practicing exercises and have no time to spare. As the second monthly exam approached the college entrance examination, Sumo gave it his all. Recently, Sumo practiced a large number of questions and reviewed all the knowledge points, so this monthly exam was a piece of cake and very easy. Sumo ranked first in number 27 middle school and got full marks in 3 subjects. When the results of the last monthly exam came out, Sumo became famous in number 27 middle school, and a bunch of classmates congratulated him. Sumo was also happy. He thought about the college entrance examination questions in his mind and continued to review. Time passed quietly, and in the blink of an eye, another 3 days had passed. During these 3 days, Sumo continued to use Bitcoin for transactions, and his assets increased from 40,000 to 80,000. His prediction was correct. In the past few days, there was indeed a surge in the price of Bitcoin. In just 3 days, the increase reached 80%. Seeing this trend, Sumo knew that Bitcoin was about to fall, so he immediately cleared out all the Bitcoins in his hands and waited for the price to fall. Next, Bitcoin will fall to its lowest point, falling below $20 per coin to just $18 per coin. The entire market will be bloodbathed, and countless people will wail. However, Sumo knew that this decline was only temporary. After the decline, Bitcoin would rise again. International capital is harvesting funds from Bitcoin users, taking advantage of the gambler mentality of some people, and swinging its sickle continuously. Sumo only needs to wait for the price to fall below the lowest level and then continue buying. With money in hand, he is not panicked. Compared with a few months ago, he now has more capital and can buy more Bitcoins. Sumo is already planning to do more and is planning a new project. This project requires speed, accuracy, and stability, and you need to make a lot of money. Sumo still needs to take the college entrance examination. There is only more than a month left until the college entrance examination, and time is very tight. However, after the college entrance examination, they will have plenty of time to waste. Sumo didn't intend to waste this time, so he planned to work with Tang Lei, Gu Huanqi, and Li Banzwang to come up with a feasible project. I currently have 80,000 yuan in my hands. If I manage well, I expect to make my first million yuan in a month. After the college entrance examination, my funds should be around 3 million yuan. In this way, I can do something big. I can't invest in real estate. 3 million is too little. I can't invest in mobile games because many people are already doing it. Mobile games have exploded in recent years, and the competition is very fierce. It's very difficult to survive. This is not a track for the 4 of us. There is another project, investing in new energy vehicles. It can be speculated that in the next 10 years, new energy vehicles will explode. After Tesla is introduced to China, countless new energy vehicle companies will emerge. This year is 2013, and it will be a hot year for new energy vehicles. However, if you want to make new energy vehicles well, you need hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars. I only invested 3 million, but it's not even enough to make a splash. What can I do to make money as quickly as possible? It would be best if it were fast and could be fully rolled out, so that within 1 or 2 years, the market value could reach over 5 billion. Sumo thought for a while at home and crossed out some projects that were not feasible for the time being. They are all high school students, and some projects are not suitable for them and require a lot of energy. They don't have the time. He could only choose a project that was less energy consuming and could make a lot of money. Got it? Sumo suddenly thought of a project and was overjoyed. He wrote down 4 big words. Shared bikes. There is no doubt that in 2013, shared bicycles were a very novel project, and it was also a project that could ignite the future and allow Sumo to quickly acquire a large amount of funds. There are already shared bicycles in Shanghai City now, but they are dominated by government agencies. There are relatively few private enterprises, and shared bicycles are mainly provided by public sectors. With the rapid development of mobile internet, shared bicycles will not appear in large numbers until next year, that is, in 2014. For example, the famous Mobike, Ofo, etc., all appeared after 2014. Before that, no one believed that the shared bicycle project could succeed. For shared bikes, it's not just the price of riding, but also the deposit fee, which can earn a lot of deposit. The lowest price for a shared bike is 200 to 300 yuan, but a user can get 299 yuan as a deposit. As long as you have a deposit, you can make money continuously. Whether investing in real estate or Bitcoin, you can make a lot of money. In addition, as long as you have money, you can also follow the trend and invest in new energy vehicles. Suemo was excited and quickly circled the shared bicycle project and focused on examining it. Shanghai City is an international metropolis with a very high quality of people. There are more than 60 universities in Shanghai City and a large number of college students. In recent years, the mobile internet has developed rapidly and the conditions have long been very mature, so it is not a problem to launch a shared bicycle project. Suemo could do a pilot project near number 27 middle school to see how the project goes. If it is suitable, then he can vigorously develop it, seek investment, find angel investors, and grow rapidly. Thinking of this, Suemo immediately found Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and Li Banzwang. The college entrance examination is coming soon. We need money to go to college. We can't just sit there and do nothing. I estimate that we will need at least 10,000 yuan in tuition fees every month to go to college. So after the college entrance examination, we need to save and earn as much money as possible. Suemo, just tell me what you want to say. I'll listen to you. Tang Lei stared at Suemo and said, Yes, Suemo, we will listen to you. Gu Huanxi and Li Banzwang also nodded, knowing why Suemo asked them to come over. Suemo smiled and said, I do have an idea that can make money, but this project is quite special, and most people may not think highly of it. We may suffer some losses, but once this project is successful, we can make a lot of money. What project? Tang Lei asked hurriedly. Suemo, each of us has about 10,000 yuan on us now. Can we do it? Li Banzwang asked. We can do it. I have money, and we still have more than a month to plan. I estimate that I can come up with about 3 million. Suemo said, I called everyone here because I hope to do it with you. Let's make money together. Suemo, tell me, what project? We believe in you. Yes, we believe you. Gu Huanxi also said. Okay. Then I said, this project is called Shared Bicycles. Suemo smiled and said, we will launch a shared bicycle project in Shanghai City, which will be available for ordinary people to ride and promote green travel in Shanghai City. Shared bicycles? The three were surprised. Yes, I've thought about it. This project is like this. We will launch bicycles. We have calculated that the cost of each bicycle is about 300 yuan. If you want to use our bicycles, you need to pay a deposit of 299 yuan. After paying the deposit, you can ride it. Generally, it costs 1 yuan per kilometer. As long as we have more users, we can make money continuously and earn riding fees and deposits continuously. Suemo smiled and said, since it is cheap and lightweight, we can promote it to the entire Shanghai City. As long as our project is successful, we can look for angel investors. The three were shocked when they heard this. Tang Lei was surprised. Sumo, this project, can it work? What if someone rides away with a shared bicycle? We can just deduct his deposit. We won't lose much. Besides, I've calculated that in Shanghai City, there are many universities and high-quality talents. Ordinary people won't steal bicycles. There are also a lot of surveillance cameras in Shanghai City recently, so few people steal bicycles. Suemo smiled and said, as long as this project is run well, we can succeed. We can have a lot of money as quickly as possible. Tang Lei frowned. What if no one uses it? Wouldn't we be at a loss then? How come no one uses it? Tang Lei, if you go to the vegetable market and don't want to take a taxi, and you see a bicycle nearby, will you use it? Or is it almost free for you to use, charging only $1 per kilometer? Will you use it? Suemo stared at him. When Tang Lei heard this, he opened his mouth. This project does have certain risks. For example, if someone steals our bikes, we will lose hundreds of dollars per bike. Or, if the city management takes our bikes, we will also lose money. However, as long as it is convenient for us, we can do it. Losing a few or dozens of bikes is not a big deal for us. The most important thing is that our products are convenient for citizens and for everyone. Suemo looked at the crowd and continued to smile. As long as the deposit paid by users is large enough, we can snowball and get bigger and bigger until it covers the entire Shanghai City. Li Banzwang frowned. Suemo, the deposit needs to be returned, right? Of course they need to return it. However, as long as we have a scale, generally speaking, not many people will return it. As long as they use our cars, they need a deposit, and they can't use it without a deposit. So, as long as they use it, they won't return the deposit. Suemo smiled and said, "Once we reach a certain scale and find angel investors, we won't have to worry about the deposit. By then, each of us will have a large sum of money." Hearing Suemo say this, Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and the other two couldn't help but get excited. Chapter 20, but how does she apologize? In fact, Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and the other two didn't know much about shared bikes and didn't have a clear idea of what it was. But it doesn't matter, as long as Suemo understands it. Anyway, the investment money will most likely be provided by him, and the three of them don't have much. As long as they follow Sumo's ideas, they can quickly roll out the shared bicycle project. Of course, before implementing shared bicycles, some pilot projects and investigations are needed. In order to avoid too much loss, it is necessary to select areas with dense populations for pilot projects, as well as areas where high-quality talents gather. Suemo quickly found an area where universities and some technology companies gathered. Some bicycles can be placed at the university gate. Sumo's first batch of bicycles is not expected to be very large, and it is estimated that only about 5,000 bicycles will be put into use. If the effect is good and users pay a large deposit, then you can invest more. College students are more likely to accept new things. Sumo, Tang Lei, and two others worked together and quickly found 6 or 7 areas that met the requirements. Another thing is to find bicycle suppliers and customize bicycles. This requires contacting them first, and then once the funds are in place, you can go and pick up the car directly. Finally, you need to register a company, hire 2 programmers, and create the app program before you can get started. Eat your food bite by bite, and walk your road step by step. Suemo, Tang Lei, and the other two were busy while keeping an eye on the Bitcoin market. Just as he expected, just 3 days later, the price of Bitcoin plummeted again, a large amount of capital was wiped out, and countless people wailed. Malice towards Bitcoin has already spread in the market, and a large number of people have begun to criticize Bitcoin, believing that it has no value. In this case, Bitcoin plummeted again. Suemo did not hesitate and invested 80,000 yuan directly, waiting for Bitcoin to go back up. He waited for another 3 days, and the price of Bitcoin indeed went back up, even higher than before. Suemo saw the momentum and thought it was about time, so he sold all of them. In this wave, he earned nearly 60,000 yuan, and the funds in his hands reached 140,000 yuan. For the next month, Suemo almost copied his previous operations. Buy low and sell high. His assets also increased rapidly from 140,000 to 180,000, then 230,000, 350,000, 470,000, 620,000, 810,000, and 1.3 million. When Suemo saw that his funds had exceeded 1 million, he became more confident and continued to operate to increase his funds. On the other hand, it seemed that as the college entrance examination was approaching, Su's family members had hardly contacted him in the past month. Only Su Wanting came twice, while Xie Bingyin and Su Deming did not come. However, Suemo already knew that his card and funds were cut off by Xie Bingyin and Su Deming, and he sneered in his heart. After school that day, Suemo saw Su Wanting at the school gate. She drove up in an Audi. Suemo didn't know why she came over, so he turned around and left without paying any attention. However, Su Wanting got out of the car and stopped him. She was holding a pot of something in her hands. Xiao-mo, Su Wanting called out in a gentle voice. Su-mo ignored her and tried to avoid her. Su Wanting hurriedly stopped him and said, Xiao-mo, wait a moment. I'll leave after I say a few words. I don't understand what you are doing here. Don't come to me if you have nothing to do. I think Teacher Lin has already told you the reason. Su-mo said coldly. I won't come here often, but Xiao-mo, please listen to me first. I'll leave after I finish speaking, okay? Su Wanting pleaded. Su-mo stopped talking and looked at her, trying to figure out what she could say. Su-mo, your college entrance examination is approaching, and you need a lot of nourishment. The doctor also said that you are anemic and malnourished. This is the porridge that your sister specially cooked. I brought it to you to nourish you. Su Wanting pointed to the lunchbox in her hand. Su-mo took a look, was stunned for a moment, and suddenly felt that this lunchbox was somewhat familiar. Su Wanting blushed slightly when she saw it and said, I remember you used to make porridge for me, but I was always busy at work and didn't have time to drink it. You used this lunchbox, so I'll make it for you this time. Su-mo immediately laughed. Are you teasing me again? What's in it? You don't want to poison me, do you? Su Wanting's face changed, and she said hurriedly, How is this possible? Why would my elder sister want to poison you? My elder sister is just worried that you are anemic and malnourished, and afraid that your college entrance examination will be affected. Don't. Don't do that. You are such a dirty family. Suemo looked at her sarcastically and laughed. I know what you have done during this period of time. You found my school, cut off my living expenses, and even called the police to find out where I live. I know what you want to do. Su Wanting, I will not sit still and wait for death. Su Wanting turned pale when she heard this. Xiao and Mo, it was all my fault before. I didn't know that you cooked so much porridge for me before. Stop talking nonsense. I know exactly what you want to do. You want to poison me? No way. Su Mo avoided her and wanted to leave. Su Wanting was startled and quickly reached out to hold him. Xiao Mo, don't leave yet. Listen to me first. Let go. Su Mo suddenly became angry. Su Wanting hurriedly said, listen to what I have to say first. I was wrong before. I didn't know that you had good intentions. I was wrong, Xiao Mo. I was just worried about your health. I don't need you to worry about me. Stop pretending to be sympathetic. Take care of yourselves when you have time. Su Mo broke free from her hand and said coldly. Su Wanting felt her eyes turn red again and said, Xiao Mo, with your current health, can you handle the college entrance examination? It's only a month away. You don't need to worry, I'm fine. If nothing's wrong, you should just get out of here. Su Mo said impatiently. Xiao Mo, can I take you to my company? Haven't you always wanted to visit my company? I'll take you to have a look. Su Wanting said hurriedly. Su Mo immediately glanced at her and laughed. Su Wanting, you are really still ruthless. Even now, you still want to tease me and let the security guard beat me? I know you have an extremely vicious heart, so forget it. Having said that, he turned and left. Xiao Mo? Su Wanting was surprised. However, this time, Su Mo did not stay, but left quickly without even looking at him. When Su Wanting saw it, her eyes instantly turned red. She sniffed and felt tears coming out, feeling wronged and sad. She watched Su Mo disappear around the corner of the street, walked back weakly with a lunchbox, and sat in the driver's seat. Sister, I knew it would be like this. Don't be sad, Su Shuehui said softly. She was sitting in the back, her face a little pale. I'm just worried that he won't get enough nutrition. He's going to take the college entrance examination soon. Su Wanting just couldn't stop crying. Plus, he still remembers those things. Su Shuehui sighed. How can it be so easy to forget? He left home because of these things. Shuehui, why don't you go and apologize to him too? Su Wanting turned around and looked at her. When Su Shuehui heard this, she fell silent. I know what you did. You don't think it's too much, but I think it's very much. You didn't even let him touch your sports car. Su Wanting stared at Su Shuehui. Su Shuehui didn't say anything. She just felt uncomfortable and didn't know how to deal with this situation. She used to think that Su Mo was shameful, very shameful, and she was even unwilling to admit that he was her younger brother. Even when her best friends teased him and ordered him around, she never said a word. Looking back on the past 4 years, Su Shuehui definitely did more than just slap her brother a few times. When Su Mo was at the Su family, he was as humble as dust. Even when he was slapped, he still greeted them with a smile and said that he was not in the way. It is normal for Su Mo to remember these humiliations. At that time, no one in the Su family treated him as a human being. But how does she apologize? Chapter 21, do you think Su Mo is really his biological son? Now Su Wanting has been scolded so badly. I'm afraid that after she goes to see Su Mo, she will be scolded even more badly. Compared to her elder sister Su Wanting, what she did was much more excessive. She had framed him several times with the third brother. Seeing that she didn't say anything, Su Wanting didn't say much. She went into number 27 middle school and found Su Mo's head teacher Lin Chuyu. Then she handed the porridge in her hand to Lin Chuyu and asked Lin Chuyu to give it to Su Mo. Su Mo's college entrance examination is approaching, and Su Wanting is worried that he will fall again. After leaving the school again, Su Wanting started the car and went home without saying much. Eat, Junja. Eat this first. This is the deep-sea fish oil that Mom bought for you. It can improve your memory. You have to finish it. And this stewed seahorse with old mountain ginseng, you have to finish it too. This can relieve fatigue. I heard from the teacher that Junja's grades have dropped slightly recently. You didn't do well in the monthly exam this time. It might be because you didn't eat well. You finally have a chance to relax. Give Mom a good meal and make up for it. Su Wanting and Su Shuehui had just returned home when they saw several people eating in the living room. Xie Bingyin probably cooked a large pot of tonic, served it to Su Junja, and told him to eat it. These supplements are very expensive. Xie Bingyin specially asked someone to bring them back from abroad to help Su Juinja improve his memory and fight fatigue. Almost every week, Xie Bingyin would ask Zhao Ma to cook a pot for Su Juinja. If it were in the past, Su Wanting also thought that Su Juinja should eat it. After all, they sisters had all eaten these things before. This time, it was natural for Su Juinja to eat. But at this time, Xie Bingyin seemed to have forgotten that her other son was in Su's family and had no food to eat, let alone such precious tonic. Aunt Zhao and Uncle Li said that Su Mo used to sneak downstairs to eat leftovers and was afraid of being discovered and scolded. Su Wanting looked at this and felt uncomfortable all over. Su Xuehue glanced at Su Wanting and saw that her eyes were red. She instantly knew what she was thinking and suddenly felt uncomfortable. Eldest sister and second sister are back. Su Juinja was eating precious deep-sea fish oil and caviar. He was overjoyed to see Su Wanting and Su Xuehue coming back. Su Wanting took a deep breath, walked in, and greeted him. Juinja, how are you preparing for the college entrance examination? Are you confident? Su Juinja smiled and said, Not bad. I've prepared a lot and hope I can do well in the exam. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just keep a normal mind. Xie Bingyin felt that her adopted son was under too much pressure and hurriedly comforted him, her face full of love. Just keep a normal mind and take the exam. Even if you don't do well, it doesn't matter. Our family doesn't need a college student. I got it. Mom, I will try my best to take the exam, Su Juinja said hurriedly. Xie Bingyin smiled lovingly and said, That's good. You have been working hard and are excellent. As long as you are serious, you will definitely do well in the exam. There's still a month left. You can ask your elder sister for advice and ask them how they adjusted their mentality. Pay attention. Don't be nervous during the exam. Got it? I will definitely ask my elder and second sisters for help. Su Juinja nodded immediately, looking well-behaved. Seeing this, Su Wanting felt even sadder. She couldn't stay any longer and immediately went upstairs. Su Xuehue also hurriedly followed Su Wanting upstairs. Sister, what's wrong with you? Su Xuehue looked at Su Wanting with concern. Su Wanting's eyes were red, and she sniffed. Xuehui, do you think Su Mo is really your biological child? Su Xuehue's face froze. I know Mom can cook. You and I have eaten it before, but Mom seems to have forgotten. Su Mo is also going to take the college entrance examination. He doesn't even have anything to eat, Su Wanting said sadly. Now Mom has even stopped giving him the 500 yuan a month living allowance. Why? Xuehue? Why is this happening? Su Xuehue also felt uncomfortable. After thinking for a while, she said, Sister, Mom likes Juinja more. Look how well-behaved Juinja is. I guess Mom hates Su Mo even more now. After all, he pointed a dagger at Mom. It would be strange if Mom didn't hate him. But they are blood relatives after all. How can she be so partial? Su Wanting burst into tears. Actually, I understand Su Mo. I know where his despair lies. Su Xuehue looked uncomfortable and didn't know what to say. And the third sister, Su Manny, did something even worse. Su Wanting cried as she spoke. Xuehue, do you know what Su Manny did? Su Xuehue looked embarrassed and sighed. Sister Manny has always wanted to kick Su Mo out. Otherwise, she wouldn't have hidden his phone. Manny did something much worse than me. Once, she took the sixth-child Su Yuechan, Juinja, and Su Mo to the amusement park, and she deliberately left Su Mo in the amusement park and only brought Su Yuechan and Juinja back. You will know what Manny has done. Su Wanting didn't dare to look at what Su Manny had done. In fact, it was similar to what Su Xuehue said. What Su Manny did was even worse and more heartbreaking. I still remember one time, there was no one at home except Su Manny and Su Mo, and everyone else was out at work. Su Manny was not feeling well and was resting in the living room, but she suddenly developed a high fever. Her whole body was twitching and foaming at the mouth. When Su Mo saw this, he was shocked and quickly carried Su Manny on his back and sent her to a hospital a few kilometers away for treatment. After running for several kilometers, Su Mo collapsed in the hospital due to exhaustion. As a result, after Su Manny was rescued by the doctor, she immediately started cursing at Su Mo, accusing him of touching her and making herself dirty. She also claimed that it was because he carried her on his back for several kilometers that she became so seriously ill. Su Wanting knew something about this matter. Su Manny also cursed at Su Mo in the group, saying that she had destroyed her image. Many think Su Mo came back to divide the family property and steal things. Suemo has been sneaky many times before and was caught by Manny. Manny also saw Suemo sneaking into her mother's room. Su Shuehue said, I guess that's the reason. That's why Manny hates Suemo so much. Have you told Manny? Su Wanting looked at her. Su Shuehue shook her head. Manny is probably still gloating over someone else's misfortune. She has wanted to drive Suemo away for a long time. Su Wanting's face froze. Thinking of Su Manny's personality, she suddenly found it hard to accept. Sister, do we need to tell Manny? Su Shuehue looked at her. It's probably useless to tell her now. Didn't you say that she is still gloating over others' misfortune? Su Wanting sniffed. Actually, I think it's good that Suemo doesn't come back in this situation. Sister, Su Shuehue was surprised. Shuehue, we are so sorry for him. As the eldest sister, an elder sister is like a mother. I have never said a fair word, and I have never done anything for him. He wanted to visit my company so many times, but I didn't let him go. The security guards even chased him out. Su Shuehue was silent. You too. Su Wanting stared at her. As the second sister, you are almost like me. You can't even touch your broken sports car. Su Shuehue didn't know what to say. She just felt her heart was blocked, and she had a feeling of depression that she couldn't vent. I don't know what my parents are thinking. Let's see how the situation develops. Su Wanting didn't want to say more. She felt that the more she spoke, the more guilty she would feel. Suemo is right. They will get their retribution. They will definitely get their retribution. Boss, are you in the room? While they were chatting, Xie Bingyin's voice suddenly came from outside. I'm inside. Su Wanting wiped her eyes quickly. Having said that, he went to open the door. Chapter 22 Prejudice can really kill a person. I guess Xie Bingyin came over after she finished serving Su Juinja. Su Juinja still needs to practice questions and do test papers. Half a month ago, Xie Bingyin had already sent an instruction in the family group saying that everything at home should focus on Juinja's college entrance examination. Nothing could be allowed to affect Su Juinja's college entrance examination. So during this period, Xie Bingyin and Su Deming did not mention Su Mo's affairs. The adopted son was a little sensitive about the appearance of his biological son. Xie Bingyin and Su Deming didn't want Su Juinja to feel like an outsider, so they tried to be as tolerant as possible towards him. Mom, why are you here? Su Wanting hurriedly greeted Xie Bingyin. Shuehue is here too? That's great. So I don't have to look for you later. Xie Bingyin walked in and saw Su Shuehue and couldn't help but nodded. Mom, Juinja want to take the test? Xie Bingyin nodded and said with a distressed look on her face. Juinja has been very hardworking recently. I think it was because of family matters that he did not do well in the chemistry exam. I told him to calm down, stop thinking about it, and try to perform exceptionally well in the college entrance exam. Su Wanting and Su Shuehue looked at each other and said nothing. Wanting Shuehue, you two can try to take a few more days off this month to tutor your brother. Especially Shuehue, you're a university teacher and you have a lot of friends in school. I heard that many teachers from Shanghai University also participated in the preparation of the college entrance examination papers this time. Can you try to find out some questions? Xie Bingyin looked at Su Shuehue. Upon hearing this, Su Shuehue hurriedly said, Mom, how can you just ask about the college entrance examination questions? This is a state secret. Just feel out their opinions. You don't necessarily need to mention the specific topic. Only when you understand it clearly can you tutor Juinja. Xie Bingyin said. Su Shuehue had no choice but to say, Okay, I'll contact someone to find out. But if I can't find out, don't blame me. Also, since you have fewer classes at university, just take a few more days off and come back these days. Juinja needs your tutoring, and so does Wanting. Put the company's matters aside for now, as Juinja's college entrance examination is the most important thing this month. Xie Bingyin said to Su Wanting. Su Wanting was silent for a moment and said, Mom, I can tutor Juinja, but what about Suemo? Xie Bingyin was stunned. Mom, you didn't forget that Suemo also has to take the college entrance examination, right? Why mention this rebellious son? I get angry when you mention him. Xie Bingyin said angrily. Mom, you prepared so many supplements for Juinja and bought them from abroad at high prices. Should you prepare some for Suemo too? Sumo's health is not very good, Su Wanting said hurriedly. Boil some for him? Is he qualified to eat these things? Wanting, don't you see what he did? He actually dared to point a knife at me and your dad. This is so rebellious. I won't give him a single cent. Xie Bingyin said angrily, really angry. Su Wanning's face froze, and she didn't know what to say for a moment. Don't worry about Suemo. This rebellious son will come back to me in disgrace sooner or later. If I don't cure his temper this time, I won't be named Xie. Xie Bingyin said coldly. But if Suemo doesn't take extra classes and doesn't do well in the exam, with his grades, where can he get into even if he does well? Number 27 middle school is such a crappy school. So what if he ranks first or second? Can he go to Peking University or Tsinghua University? Can he go to a 211-key university? Xie Bingyin said disdainfully. He's a pile of mud that can't be helped. I want to see how he lives out there. Without the support of our Su family, they are nothing. After saying that, Xie Bingyin looked at Su Wanting and the others again. Don't blame me for not giving him food. If he was half as well-behaved, half as hardworking, and half as polite as Juinja, I wouldn't let him starve. Look at him now. He's becoming more and more arrogant and lawless. Mom, you only gave Su Mo 500 yuan a month. How can that be enough to live on? What's not enough? Isn't 500 yuan pocket money enough? He can eat at home, and he won't starve to death. Besides, I give him 500 yuan every month, and he can still be so arrogant and draw his sword against us. If I give him more, what will happen? Xie Bingyin said angrily. I just know that his bad habits are hard to get rid of. If the habits he learned in the orphanage are not cleaned up, he will always be a pile of mud and can't be helped. I just taught him a few words, but he was so stubborn. I've already told your father that we must teach him a lesson this time. You can't joke about the college entrance examination. If Suemo fails, what will happen to him in the future? Suwon wanted to give him some more advice. So, what if he didn't do well in the exam? He brought this upon himself. Wanting, did you go looking for him again? Xie Bingyin looked at Su Wanting. Su Wanting hesitated for a moment and nodded. I knew you were going to find him. Otherwise, he would have come back in disgrace long ago. I tell you, Su Wanting, you are not allowed to go to find him in the future. I want to see how long he can keep being stubborn with me. Xie Bingyin sneered. Su Shuhui also spoke up hastily. Mom, I'm worried about Su Mo's college entrance examination. Half a month ago, you said in the group that we should focus on the college entrance examination and let other things go. Su Mo, you also have to take the college entrance examination. Xie Bingyin stared at her and said sarcastically, with his grades, what can he get? What can he get? I've already told you not to put your hopes on him. I asked you to take the college entrance examination seriously because I hope you can help Juinja. Now the most important thing is that Juinja does well in the exam. As for Su Mo, I have a way to deal with him. Eldest sister probably also wants to tutor Su Mo. Su Shuhui said hesitantly. Xie Bingyin immediately laughed, turned around and stared at Su Wanting sarcastically. Wanting, why are you thinking so much? I know what you're worried about, but if Su Mo was half as good as Juinja, I wouldn't be so angry with him. Look at what he did. He ran away to fool around and didn't come home for a month. This rebellious son, it's better not to tutor him. Su Wanting felt sad when she heard this. Xie Bingyin already knew that Su Mo's grades in number 27 middle school were actually quite good, but she was still full of prejudice against the number 27 middle school, thinking that it was just a third-rate high school and that no good students could come out of it. She had probably already forgotten what the school leader said to her, thinking it was fake. Now that the college entrance examination is approaching, she naturally doesn't want Su Juinja to be affected by these messy things. So she doesn't want Su Wanting to be distracted to take care of Su Mo and take up Su Wanting's time to tutor Su Juinja. Sometimes prejudice can really kill a person. She looked alive, but she was actually dead. Mom, Su Mo? Is he your biological son? After thinking about it, Su Wanting couldn't help but ask. Xie Bingyin was stunned and immediately said, I have asked the same question as you. Su Mo, this rebellious son, is nothing like me and your father, and nothing like any of you. But we tested it several times, and the doctor said it was all true. We even went abroad for identification. Since he is my biological child, then Su Mo should also do well in the exam. Su Wanting spoke with some difficulty, and then said, Otherwise, why did you bring him back, Mom? Since he is our biological son, we naturally have to find him back. Can we just leave him to wander outside? Xie Bingyin said angrily. I tell you, Su Wanting, Su Mo's bad habits are hard to get rid of. I am saving him and teaching him now. If he can't be taught well, then he doesn't deserve to be a member of our Su family and doesn't deserve to enjoy everything in our family. Also, I warn you guys, don't learn from him. If he doesn't learn well, he's destined to be a puddle of mud. After hearing what she said, Su Wanting and Su Shuehui fell silent. I don't know what to say. Xie Bingyin continued. Please take a few more days off this month and come back to tutor Juinja as much as possible every night and help him with his homework. Also, notify the third, fourth, and fifth sisters to come back as well. You sisters, make sure to help Juinja do well in the exam. Upon hearing this, Su Wanting and the other person could only nod. The family was fully prepared for Su Juinja's college entrance examination. The whole family was on high alert, fearing that Su Juinja would fail the exam. Xie Bingyin started a month ago. However, it seemed that almost no one in the family asked Su Mo about taking the college entrance examination. If Su Mo had not made such a big fuss this time and ran away from home, she and Su Shuehui probably would not have noticed such a problem. If she thought about it seriously, she felt suffocated. Su Mo, is he really your biological child? Chapter 23, Put Away Your Fake Compassion. The price of Bitcoin has skyrocketed again. Su Mo quickly traded it out and made a direct profit of more than 300,000 this time. His assets also skyrocketed to 1,500,000. With money in hand, he was not worried. Although the college entrance examination was approaching, Su Mo still took the documents to register a company. The company is named Xiahai Little Monster Company, Limited, which is dedicated to operating the OFO bike-sharing business, with a registered capital of 1 million. After the company was registered and various licenses were obtained, Su Mo ran to an office building close to number 27 Middle School and rented an office to use as his startup office. The next step is to recruit people and develop the app. We need to recruit 2 programmers who are experienced and can develop app independently. As the college entrance examination was approaching, Su Mo merely notified Tang Lei, Gu Huanqi, and others, and went to the job market to recruit people. Tang Lei and Gu Huanqi don't need to take charge of the company for the time being. Wait until they finish the college entrance examination. Recruiting was relatively smooth. The price Su Mo offered was acceptable, 10,000 yuan per person per month. It only took 2 days to find 2 people to join the company. Next, it's time to contact the bicycle side. Su Mo has many requirements, including a smart lock, positioning, and high quality that meets the standards of ordinary bicycles. In fact, bicycle manufacturer Su Mo already had a target in mind, and that was Phoenix Bicycle Company. He has also contacted them these days to test the price, but the business manager there has not yet responded to Su Mo. Maybe it's because they saw that Su Mo is relatively young and not very reliable, so they are a little hesitant as to whether they need to do it. Su Mo planned to give them a deposit and place an order directly after getting this wave of Bitcoin. The first batch of bicycles would only need to be 1,000, and he didn't plan to produce that many at once. If the effect is good, then we will add another 1,000 vehicles, or continue to add 2,000 or 3,000 vehicles until it is fully rolled out. The app needs to be developed as soon as possible. It doesn't need to have many functions, just a few simple functions such as scanning, positioning, and recharge and withdrawal. It needs to be developed within a month. After we have the app, we can print some posters for promotion. At the beginning, we put 1,000 vehicles in place, and we put them all in densely populated areas. Some are at the university gate, some are at the subway exit, and some are in the science and technology park. As long as the city management doesn't take it and other people don't steal it, then we can probably make money. What I fear most is being stolen, Tang Lei said worriedly. Don't be afraid. Even if a few are lost, it's no big deal. In fact, what we should worry about most is the urban management. But there are so many electric bikes on the streets, and many people park them randomly. If we park a few bicycles, the urban management will probably not care. By the time they think they need to care, we will probably have already spread out, Su Mo said with a smile. Gu Huanqi looked at Su Mo and smiled. Su Mo, you are not worried about the college entrance examination. Do you still have time to develop these projects? There's no other way. We are children without parents. We are poor, and every penny earned is good. You guys should study hard first. After you finish your exams, you can join us, and we'll work together to promote the expansion of shared bikes, Su Mo said with a smile. Good. The 3 of them responded happily, then took out their textbooks and continued to do their exercises. However, Su Mo still invested a large amount of money in Bitcoin, seeking to make another big profit. He estimates that Bitcoin will continue to soar during this period. You should know that in 2013, Bitcoin skyrocketed more than 200 times, but now it has only increased more than 20 times. The second half of 2013 is estimated to be the truly glorious period of Bitcoin. Su Mo will not miss this great opportunity to make money. While doing the questions, The head teacher handed Suemo a lunchbox. Suemo took a look at it and left it on the seat. The next day after school, he walked out of the school gate with his lunchbox and saw a familiar black Audi parked at the gate. Seeing him come out, Suwon got out of the Audi again. When Suemo saw her, he felt a little annoyed, so he took the lunchbox and walked to the trash can and threw it in front of her. He didn't know why Suwon came here so many times. Suemo no longer had any good feelings towards this elder sister. The last time he died alone in the hospital, there was no one around him. No one came. They all went to accompany Su Juinja. Now Su Wanting comes here again and again. Obviously, there is some conspiracy. If nothing goes wrong, people in their chat group might have already laughed out loud, and everyone was watching with a gloating attitude. Su Wanting saw him throw away the lunchbox she had given him in front of her, and her expression froze. She forced a smile and went over to him. Xiaomo, are you done with school? Su Mo glanced at her and said sarcastically, You guys are really funny. You won't release the eagle until you see the rabbit, right? Xiaomo, I'm here to bring you some food. This is the porridge cooked by Aunt Zhao, and some deep-sea fish oil at home. It can improve memory and resist fatigue. You're about to take the college entrance examination, so you should eat something. Su Wanting spoke hurriedly when she saw his disgusted look. Huh? Anti-fatigue? Su Mo laughed immediately, as if he had never encountered such a funny thing before. You family are really haunting me. How did I offend you? Why do you do this to me? Can't I just surrender? Su Wanting said hurriedly. What's the offense? I just hope you can do well in the college entrance examination. No, please don't. I can't afford it. Your family has put a lot of thought into influencing my exam. You worked so hard. Did Su Junja give you a bonus? Did Su Junja pay you a salary? Su Mo's eyes were cold, and he quickly interrupted her. Xiao Mo, this has nothing to do with Junja. These deep-sea fish oils were bought from abroad. They can improve memory. Junja used to eat a lot of them at home. Now I'll give some to you. Su Wanting said. Give me some? Ha, what a joke. What a joke. Su Wanting hurriedly said. Xiao Mo, I'm worried about you. You're about to take the college entrance examination. You need to eat. You really don't want to see the rabbit before you release the eagle. You really want me to expose your true face, right? Su Wanting, don't you think I dare not expose your hypocrisy and malice? Su Wanting's face changed drastically. Xiao Mo, I just want to replenish your body. Don't. Please don't do that. You want me to fall for it? Are you worthy enough? Su Mo sneered. A trace of mockery appeared on the corner of his mouth. He looked at the thing in her hand and took 2 steps back. Deep-sea fish oil? I remember I ate this thing once, secretly took a bite, and, as a result, your good sister is really perfect. She just picked it up and poured it all over me. Su Wanting was stunned, and her face changed instantly. My dear sister, please stop being so hypocritical. I still remember it clearly. You did something really bad that day. I am a poor man and an orphan. I can't afford such food, and I am not qualified to eat it. I don't know what you have done by coming here many times, but I tell you clearly that you will not have an easy life. You will definitely be punished. Su Mo's eyes were cold again. You want to frame me and trap me too? No way. Put away your fake compassion. It makes me sick just to see you. After saying that, Su Mo turned and left. Su Wanting was stunned. Her eyes slightly widened, and her body trembled. She didn't expect Su Mo still remembered this matter. Her breathing was rapid, her eyes had turned red, and she stared at the direction Su Mo had left, then returned to the car in a daze. She placed the lunchbox on the passenger seat and stared blankly at the people coming and going in the distance. She fell into a period of dead silence and self-doubt. Tears were forced out of her eyes involuntarily, tearing the makeup on her pretty face. Su Wanting sniffed, her eyes blurred with tears. She reached into her pocket, took out her cell phone, and turned it on. She searched for a while and soon found a piece of information. Su Mo, indeed, has taken deep-sea fish oil. Just took one bite. That time, Xie Bingyin prepared food for her, Su Wanting. Su Wanting was pursuing a new project at that time and was very busy and had no time to spare. Even when I get home, I'm always busy. Seeing that she was busy and had lost a lot of weight, Xie Bingyin asked someone to get some deep-sea fish oil and other supplements for her to take. She didn't have time to eat it at that time, so she put it in the refrigerator. Su Mo happened to have just come home from playing basketball and felt very thirsty, so he went to the refrigerator to find something to eat. After seeing the deep-sea fish oil, he took it out and took a sip. Su Wanting also happened to come downstairs. When she saw this scene, She became furious and poured the fish oil directly on Sumo's head, cursing at him. At that time, Sumo had just returned home not long ago. He had already gone to her company, but was beaten back by the security guard. Suwani happened to hate him to the extreme. I still remember that after I poured the fish oil on Sumo's head, Sumo was shocked, panicked, and his face was full of fear. Sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have drunk this. He apologized to her tremblingly at that time. His face turned pale with fright. At this moment, Suwani just felt cold. I feel so cold. Almost suffocated. It turns out that she is even worse than Su Shuehue and Su Manny. In fact, she is even worse than Xie Bingyin. Chapter 24, His heart is as dead as water. That day, she said a lot of harsh words. She couldn't remember what she said. Now that I see Sumo's comments, I remember some things. Su Wanting suddenly didn't dare to look at these things. She felt as if her heart was being tightly grasped by someone and she couldn't breathe. As the college entrance examination draws closer, everyone in the family becomes nervous. At Xie Bingyin's command, the third child Su Manny, the fourth child Su Pundi, and the fifth child Su Shuang all rushed back to tutor Su Juinja. Even the sixth child Su Yuechan, who was still in college, took a leave of absence to come back and explain to Su Juinja each question and the key points to pay attention to in the college entrance examination. Su Yuechan was attending university in Beijing and had been away from home for several months. She finally made the trip home. As for Su Wanting and Su Shuehue, they also could not escape tutoring Su Juinja. Xie Bingyin asked them to put everything aside and try their best to help Su Juinja get through this month. With Xie Bingyin's order, all the family members naturally went out, fully armed and ready for battle. Delicious food, good drinks, lots of supplements to improve memory, fight fatigue, and neurasthenia. The Su family is rich, so they buy whatever supplements are effective. In order to help Su Juinja do well in the exam, Xie Bingyin spent several million. Shuehue, have your friends over there found out? What questions will they ask? Manny, do your friends in the entertainment industry have connections in this area? Pundi, your friends in the legal circle should also have connections, so try to find out as much as possible. And Shuang, you should teach Juinja some knowledge about chemistry. I remember that when you were studying medicine, you had a very detailed understanding of chemistry. As for the eldest sister, Wanting, you will take care of everything. You will be in charge of Juinja's nutritional balance and sleep issues. You must adjust Juinja to the best condition in a month so that he can take the college entrance examination easily. Yes. When Su Wanting and others heard Xie Bingyin's order, no one dared to disobey. Mom, actually you sisters don't have to be so busy. I can do it myself, Su Juinja said hurriedly. Why do you have to do it alone? The college entrance examination is the most important thing in your life. You must do well in it. Only with a few sisters to help you can you know where your shortcomings and weaknesses are. They can help you fill in the gaps. Xie Bingyin said seriously. Su Juinja was also happy to hear her say that and said, thank you very much, elder sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister, fifth sister, and sixth sister. I will definitely work harder and strive to get the top score in the exam. Xie Bingyin was delighted when she heard this, and she was overjoyed. Our Juinja is still the best. Great! He will become the top scorer in the exam and bring honor to our family. Suemo is also very busy. The college entrance examination was getting closer, and he no longer had time to manage the company's affairs. He practiced as many questions as possible and tutored Tang Lei and the other two so that they could do better in the exam. In fact, the project at the company is progressing very quickly. The preliminary template and functions of the app have been produced and are awaiting further debugging and testing. Then adjust the template and test it to see the effect. If the effect is good, you can put it online for use. He put this matter aside for the time being and prepared for the college entrance examination. I must take the college entrance examination and get into a 211-key university. Yes, I must do well in the exam. The four of them encouraged each other with bright eyes. The college entrance examination is approaching, and everyone is very nervous and racing against time. Around the high school, everyone had to be careful even when crossing the street. Everyone could feel the tense atmosphere. Suemo was fine. After all, he had experienced it once before, so he was not particularly nervous. He had memorized most of the test questions and answers in his mind, and he had almost no problem passing the test. It seemed that because he scolded Su Wanting last time, no one in the Su family came to bother him during this period, making him live very happily and comfortably. Time passed quietly in the busyness, and in the blink of an eye, the college entrance examination arrived. In order to help everyone adjust their mindset, the school gave everyone a day off the day before the college entrance examination to allow them to relax. On this day, Su Mo, Tang Lei, and the other three gathered together and recalled the past 18 years of their lives. They are very clear that they are a group of people without a future, without family or relatives, and they only have each other to help and take care of each other. This college entrance examination is the most important thing in their lives, and they don't want to fail. Sumo, if we fail, can we go to work for that bike-sharing company? Li Banzwang asked. Su Mo smiled and said, Of course. No matter how you do in the exam, you can come. Let's make this shared bike business bigger and stronger and roll it out across the board. Gu Huanqi smiled and said, Su Mo, I didn't expect that you would start a company while taking the college entrance examination. I tested the app yesterday, and it felt pretty useful. As long as it works well, once the college entrance examination is over, we can promote it directly, Su Mo said with a smile. Good. Others were excited. After a day of rest, the college entrance examination arrived as expected. On this day, everyone gathered their energy and adjusted their physical condition to the best possible state. Su Mo also adjusted himself so that he could take the college entrance examination in the most relaxed manner. His examination venue was at Xiahai No. 6 Middle School, and it seemed that most of the students from No. 27 Middle School also had their examination venues here. When Su Mo and his three companions arrived at the examination room, they saw a huge crowd of people outside, and many parents were waiting outside. There were many candidates who were personally sent by their parents to take the college entrance examination. They all had a relaxed look on their faces and gently told their children to do well in the exam and not to be nervous. Seeing this scene, it would be a lie to say that Su Mo and the other three were not envious, especially Li Banzwang, whose eyes became red, probably because she was thinking of her parents. But it doesn't matter. They are all orphans and have been through many battles. They can handle this kind of small situation on their own. When the storm came, there was no one to shelter them from the wind and rain, and no one to hold an umbrella for them, so they could only run forward as hard as they could. Hurry up, Juanja. You must relax and don't be nervous. Your grades have always been good, and you have adjusted well in the past few days. As long as you relax, you will definitely do well in the exam. Your second and third sisters have already asked around, and you've already reviewed the general scope. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and try your best. Mom, I get it. I'll relax. Okay, that's good. Our Juanja is a good boy. When you finish your exams, we will take you out to play. Whatever you want, Mom will sell it to you. Thank you, Mom. Su Mo heard two voices in the crowd. He raised his head and glanced coldly, and saw several familiar faces appearing in the crowd. If not Xie Bingyan, Su Deming, and Su Wanning, who else could it be? That's right, No. 6 Middle School is also Su Juanja's examination venue. Their No. 2 Middle School and Su Mo's No. 27 Middle School also take the exam at No. 6 Middle School. Since he had expected it, Su Mo didn't feel surprised at all. He just took a look and turned away without hesitation. He was too familiar with this scene. In order to help Su Juanja take the college entrance examination, the Su family almost used up all their strength and were fully armed. 1 month before Su Juanja's college entrance examination, the Su family gave him almost everything he wanted. And he is almost nothing. None of his 6 sisters was willing to tutor him. Su Mo didn't want to experience this kind of discriminatory treatment a second time, and his heart was already as dead as water. They will get their retribution, and later on, they will really get their retribution one by one. Chapter 25, The Worst Sister in the World. If Su Mo had not experienced what happened last time, he might still think that it was his fault that he was not good enough, so they didn't like him and didn't accept him. He once wanted to improve himself madly, to please them. However, after experiencing what happened last time, Su Mo completely gave up and realized the cruelty of the truth. For more than 10 years, Su Juanja has been held in their hands for fear of dropping him, and held in their mouths for fear of melting him. This kind of love and care is definitely not something that ordinary people can imagine. They have invested a lot of time and energy in Su Juanja, and it is definitely not something that they can easily replace as a biological child. Even though Su Mo had died many years ago in the previous life, Su Juanja's love for him remained unchanged. If Su Juanja had not married and had children in the end, wanted to monopolize the family property, intensified conflicts with his sisters, and had a dispute with Xie Bingyan and Su Deming, his mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, which eventually led to a bad relationship, Su Juinja would not have lost favor and would not have directly revealed his cards. Thinking back to my previous life, when I saw people being forced to death, some being angered to death, and some committing suicide by jumping off buildings, I should have felt happy. The depression in Su Mo's heart had already dissipated by then, especially when he saw Su Manny looking at each other in silence again. Su Mo felt happy in his heart. Where did Su Manny go after her death? I guess he went to reunite with him. Without thinking about these things, Su Mo gathered his full energy and prepared himself for the college entrance examination. The entrance of Shanghai No. 6 Middle School is bustling with people and traffic, and it is very lively. Many parents brought their sons and daughters to take the college entrance examination. Most of them had serious expressions on their faces and did not dare to take it lightly at all. Su Wanting and the fourth and fifth brothers also came to send Su Juinja to the college entrance examination. With them were Xie Bingyin and Su Deming. Xie Bingyin pulled Su Juinja aside to talk, telling him not to be nervous and to relax while taking the exam, and that it didn't matter whether he did well or not. Although they were just words of comfort, everyone around could clearly feel the deep love his father had for his son. Xie Bingyin also carefully checked the stationery and clothes that Su Juinja brought with him, and only let Su Juinja in after finding that there was no problem. Let's wait in the car for him to come out. It'll only take a few hours. Seeing Su Juinja come in, Xie Bingyin smiled happily and said, Juinja has always been very well behaved. I have already asked the teachers at No. 1 Middle School. His grades are good enough to get into a key university, and he may even get the top score in the exam. Su Wanting nodded and was about to go back to the car with Xie Bingyin and others to wait, when suddenly she noticed something, was stunned for a moment, and quickly turned her head to look inside the school. What's wrong? Xie Bingyin was surprised. No, nothing. Su Wanting was shocked and wondered if the person she just saw was an illusion. Su Mo, is you here too? Su Wanting also didn't know where Su Mo was taking the college entrance examination. She once tried to contact Su Mo, but he drove her away. Now there is no news from him. However, when she saw this, Su Wanting couldn't help but feel a little panicked. Mom, I'll go to the bathroom first. Su Wanting thought for a moment and turned back to say, Okay, you go early and come back early. Xie Bingyin nodded, went back to the car to eat snacks and chat with others, waiting for Su Juinja to come out. Su Wanting left the school gate and came to a secluded place. She took out her cell phone and called her secretary. Xiao Su, help me check which school No. 27 Middle School takes the college entrance examination. I need to know the answer immediately. Okay, Sister Ting. The secretary quickly went to contact Su Wanting to check. Su Wanting waited for a while, and the secretary finally sent her a message. Su Wanting took a look, and her expression changed immediately. Xiaohai City No. 6 Middle School, together with No. 1 Middle School? That's right. No. 27 Middle School and No. 1 Middle School are both taking the college entrance examination for No. 6 Middle School, and the distance between them is not far. Secretary Xiao Su replied. I understand. Su Wanting hung up the phone, her face pale. What she just saw should indeed be Su Mo. He also came to No. 27 Middle School. In fact, no one in his family cared about his college entrance examination. No one. Neither Xie Bingyin nor Su Deming placed any hope on him, and even told them not to look for him. Su Wanting once thought about making some changes, but the things that happened in the past 4 years were so vivid in her mind that she couldn't think at all. She has always wondered, how could she, a graduate of a prestigious university with high quality, intelligence, and talent, become like this? Am I too busy? Or was I too stressed out in the past? She admitted that she had been under a lot of pressure in the past, as she had to take care of the work and food of more than 1,000 people in the company, and she did not dare to be negligent in the slightest. But she is not comparable to ordinary people. No matter what, as the eldest daughter of the Su family, she would not lose her mind and do wrong things. Perhaps it started from joining Su Manny's group, or perhaps it started from the first time Su Mo secretly went to her company, or perhaps it started from seeing him bring the cooked chicken porridge to her with his dirty hands. Su Wanting admitted that when she saw him at that time, he was indeed a little dirty. He had been busy in the kitchen for a long time, and his hands and feet were not clean. He could not compare with these young ladies from noble families who had never had to do housework. Perhaps that's why his family members don't like him very much. I also used to hate him getting close to me. My eldest sister is the person I admire the most. If I could be 1/10, no, 1% as good as my eldest sister, that would be great. A hardworking elder sister, a diligent elder sister, an elder sister who concentrates on handling official business. I heard that the elder sister has won a large order for the company, worth 600 to 700 million yuan. The whole family is so happy, and the whole family is celebrating. Su Wanting felt her nose sore again. A tear forced its way out of his eye socket. She hurriedly squatted in the corner, took out her mobile phone, opened the message on it, and continued to read. A while ago, she didn't dare to look at it. She was similar to Su Xiuhui and became timid. And today, she wanted to take another look at what was inside. Damn it, I drank my elder sister's fish oil supplement. This is for my elder sister's body. My elder sister is so busy at work, she should have a lot of supplements. My elder sister is so busy at work. She is busy in the living room every day. She is also holding meetings in the living room. She is so busy. Su Wanting looked at the time and remembered what happened during that period. At that time, she was too busy and had no choice but to temporarily move her work to her home office. She held meetings, made reports, and reviewed documents at home, and would be busy in the living room until 1 or 2 in the morning every day. At that time, she already hated Su Mo very much and didn't want Su Mo to get close to her. These photos should have been taken by Su Mo on the second floor. It was 1 or 2 in the morning, and most people were already asleep. Su Mo probably saw that she was busy until the middle of the night and had nothing to eat, so he secretly went to the kitchen to cook a pot of porridge and handed it to her. At that time, when she saw him coming out with the clay pot porridge in his dirty little hands, Su Wanting happened to be very upset because she couldn't solve a work problem. She scolded him for not sleeping so late at night and disturbing her work, then reached out to take the porridge and poured it into the trash can. Su Wanting still remembered that after she did this, Su Mo was frightened, his face turned pale, and he hurried upstairs and never dared to come down again. My eldest sister stays up late every day. She is so busy. I can't handle it. I'm worried about my elder sister's health. Big sister coughed. I heard big sister cough. I heard that my eldest sister has a fever. I'm worried. Big sister is really the most powerful person. Big sister succeeded. Big sister finally completed the work. Everyone is cheering. I heard that big sister can make 100 million from this project. She is indeed the most powerful person. Woo-woo. Su Wanting could no longer hold back her tears and cried quietly, feeling her nose extremely sore. She really is the worst person in the world. The worst sister in the world. Chapter 26, they have forgotten to ask Su Mo's grades. Sister, why are you here? Are you okay? The fourth child, Su Pundi, suddenly found her and asked in surprise. It's okay. Su Wanting quickly wiped her tears and stood up. I'm glad you're okay. Mom said that if you're too busy, you can go back to work first. We who are here will be fine as long as Juinja comes out, Su Pundi said. Su Wanting looked at her with red eyes. Fourth brother, has Mom asked Su Mo? Su Pundi was stunned. No? Why are you asking Su Mo? Su Mo is also going to take the college entrance examination, Su Wanting said. Su Pundi curled her lips and said disdainfully. With his grades, what can he get? Mom has already said that we don't need to worry about him. He won't get any grades anyway. We might as well focus on Juinja. I heard from the leaders of number 27 middle school that Sumo's grades are actually very good. Su Wanting continued. What kind of good students can number 27 middle school produce? Sister, there are more than 1,000 students in number 27 middle school. It's already very good if 5 of them can be admitted to key universities every year. Last year, only 1 person made it to a key university. Su Pundi curled her lips in disdain. Even if he is admitted to a key university, he probably won't be able to go to a world-class university like Peking University or Tsinghua University. This time, Juinja's goal is Peking University or Tsinghua University. How can Su Mo compare to him? Juinja's grades are already good enough. Su Wanting stopped talking, took a deep breath, and brought her emotions back to normal. Sister, what did you think of Su Mo? Su Mo is just a hopeless piece of mud. There is no need to think about him at all. Su Pundi asked worriedly when she saw that her face seemed a little strange. I've asked around. Su Mo is also taking the college entrance exam at this school, Su Wanting said. Su Pundi was surprised. He was here just now, but he didn't come to see us. Su Wanting continued. Why doesn't he come to see us? Su Pundi was surprised. What do you think? Su Wanting glared at her, too lazy to say anything more, and turned to walk towards the school gate. Su Pundi was a little confused and hurriedly followed up and said, even if he also took the college entrance examination in number 6 middle school, so what? His grades are not as good as Juinja's, so what's the use? I think he must be ashamed for not coming to see us. Su Wanting stopped talking and returned to her car. She hopes to see Sumo at the gate of number 6 middle school. Even if not many people wish him well in the college entrance examination, she still hopes that he does well. She also hoped to tell him that his elder sister had not forgotten him. Even though his eldest sister was the worst eldest sister in the world, had done many wrong things and taken many detours, still wanted to tell him that his eldest sister still wanted to be his idol and asked him not to lose hope in her. Sumo did not continue through the front gate of number 6 middle school. Instead, choose to go through the back door. He was too lazy to argue with the Su family and waste his energy and spirit so out of sight, out of mind. The test paper has been handed out. Sumo took a look at it and had an idea in his mind. A familiar feeling arose spontaneously. Without any hesitation, he immediately wrote down the answer that he had practiced thousands of times. Even for writing essays, he had already prepared a draft in his mind and memorized it. There is Chinese exam in the morning, math exam in the afternoon, and then physics, foreign languages, and chemistry exams. For Sumo, these were completely effortless and easy to do. He already knew the test questions by heart. The 3 days of the college entrance examination are also the most tense and exciting 3 days. After the exam, you can relax. There is no pressure for Sumo. During the exam period, he even dealt with matters related to shared bicycles and pushed the finished app to start stress testing and bug testing. The app needs to be tested as soon as possible, otherwise it may not be able to catch up in time. There are still some bugs in it and a lot of adjustments need to be made. In addition, during the college entrance examination period, the price of Bitcoin also rose significantly, more than 3 times. This has made Bitcoin famous in China, and countless people are discussing what Bitcoin can do and what value it can generate. Amidst all the doubts, Sumo saw the huge profits. Without hesitation, he swung out his sickle and took in the wealth. Within 3 days of the college entrance examination, the value of Sumo's assets reached 3.5 million, far exceeding his expectations, and he made a huge profit. With this money, Sumo knew that the shared bicycle project could be promoted. Next, you need to place an order with Phoenix Bicycle Company and get the bicycles, and you need to rent a large warehouse to store the bicycles. He had already planned this before, so there was no problem at all in doing it. The price of the bicycle can be reduced to 330 yuan per unit, and it has already been obtained from Phoenix Bicycle. Next, Sumo only needs to pay the deposit and they will start production. Now that he had money in his hands, Sumo naturally did not hesitate. After taking out the money, he paid a deposit of 150,000 yuan and got 1,000 bicycles first. Now we just need to wait for the college entrance examination to be over and then start preparing. Most of the work has been prepared. The 3 days of the college entrance examination passed quickly. When it was over, everyone quickly cheered to celebrate their liberation. The class organized a party and everyone went back to participate. Sumo went over and hugged the head teacher Lin Chuyu. I should have done well on the test. I've already solved most of the questions. Sumo smiled at her. When Lin Chuyu heard this, she was also happy. Good, as long as you did well in the exam. But Sumo, the people who came a few days ago were your sister's family, right? Sumo's face froze. I'm glad nothing happened to you. If something happened, you can tell the teacher, whether you have graduated or not. You are the teacher's student, Lin Chuyu said with a smile. Sumo also smiled. Thank you, Teacher Lin, but it's okay. They're not my family. My family has died a long time ago. Lin Chuyu sighed when he heard this, thinking that it was not good to interfere in other people's family affairs. Now just waiting for the results to come out. It is estimated that it will take about 15 days for the results to come out. Sumo decided to relax for 2 days with Tang Lei and others, and then push the shared bicycle project online. The 4 of them went to the beach together and spent 2 days there, just vacationing at the beach. After playing, he quickly returned to number 27 middle school and started work. The app still needs to continue stress testing. Otherwise, it may crash as the number of subsequent users increases. Phoenix Bicycle is expected to provide the first batch of bicycles within 7 days. Then we will move them to the warehouse together. I bought a small truck and hired a driver. We'll need to park the bikes ourselves later. By the way, we'd better learn to drive during the summer vacation. Otherwise, it will be troublesome to travel later. Good. Sumo has already arranged most of the things. Now he just needs to follow the steps. In order to do a better job, Sumo gave each of them 5% of the shares plus a monthly salary of 6,000 yuan and worked together to grow stronger. With the addition of these 3 people, the follow-up work progressed very quickly. The preliminary preparations for going online were quickly arranged, and we were just waiting for the bicycles to arrive. The bikes didn't take long to arrive. It only took 7 or 8 days for them to be delivered. They were all painted yellow, had the company logo written on them, and were equipped with smart positioning locks. The bicycle arrived, and the 4 of them went to check it together. Tang Lei and others had never seen such a new thing as shared bicycles. For a moment, they just thought it was very novel. The yellow color is very nice and eye-catching. When placed on the street, people will notice it immediately. Gu Huanxi praised, feeling that the project seemed likely to be successful. I'm just worried that the bike will be stolen. This bike is very beautiful and costs more than 300 yuan. If it is stolen, we will suffer a great loss, said Tang Lei. Don't worry, the people of Shanghai City are not that poor. Let's check every bicycle to see if there are any problems. If there are any problems, we will return them. If there are no problems, we will start storing them. Good. Everyone cheered and got busy. During the 3 days of the college entrance examination, Su Wanting did not see Su Mo. She waited at the gate of number 6 middle school for 3 days, wanting to see him, but Su Mo seemed to have left through the back door. He obviously knew they were at the front door, so he didn't come and meet them. After Su Wanting knew about this, she couldn't help but feel sad. Su Junja did very well in the exam. After the test, he went home and reviewed the paper. It is said that he solved every question, which greatly boosted his confidence. After hearing this, Xie Bingyin and Su Deming were also very happy. For a moment, they both felt proud. In their joy, they seemed to have forgotten to ask about Su Mo's grades. These days, Xie Bingyin has been showing off Su Juinja's grades to relatives and friends, saying that Su Juinja might become the top scorer in science in Shanghai City. So proud. Chapter 27. A Crushing Victory. Top Scholar Su Mo. It has to be our Juinja. This time, he is not only targeting Peking University and Tsinghua University, but also the top science student in Shanghai City. After we finished the test, we went to number 1 middle school to review it. This time, Juinja's score must be above 620 points. The number 1 in science must be our Juinja. That year, only Wanting won the first place in a single subject, and no one else got it. This time, our Juinja really brought honor to the family. Our Juinja is still well-behaved and obedient. He studies when he is told to study and works hard when he is told to work hard. Look, a good boy is a good boy. Wait for the results to be announced. The top scorer in science will definitely be our Juinja. When relatives, friends, and neighbors heard Xie Bingyin say this, they couldn't help but feel envious and amazed. It has to be said that the 6 daughters of the Su family were all very good at studying, especially the eldest daughter, Su Wanting, who was a well-known top student in her time and was recommended to study abroad. Although the others were not as good as Su Wanting, they had all made some achievements in their respective fields. And Su Juinja's test results this time naturally made Xie Bingyin and Su Deming even more proud. A good child must be obedient, teachable, well-behaved, and eat more good food to replenish his body. Only in this way can he study well. Our Juinja has been obedient since he was a child. He may be better than Wanting. Xie Bingyin was very proud, and the others naturally followed suit immediately. Congratulations, Juinja, you got another top score in science. The top scorer in science in Shanghai City is so valuable. Congratulations, Juinja. Juinja is really excellent. Su Juinja originally wanted to say a few words of modesty, but after reviewing the results and comparing them with several teachers, he found that he had indeed done well in the exam. He was no longer modest at this time and said with a smile, "We calculated it once, and the teacher said that the science student is undoubtedly the top scorer. Actually, I was still a little nervous. Now, thank you all." "Haha, Juinja. You must have worked hard these years, right?" someone said with a smile. Su Juinja nodded. "Of course it's hard. For the college entrance examination, I almost got up early and went to bed late. If I want to do well in the exam, I have to work hard. I have put 200% of my energy into it, otherwise I would not have done well. I've always said that you've been smart and well-behaved since you were young, and it's true. It's all thanks to my parents' support. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done so well in the exam. And my eldest sister, second sister, third sister, etc., it's all thanks to them." Okay. Everyone laughed. Seeing that Su Juinja did well in the exam, Su Wanting, Su Shuehui, and others were naturally very satisfied and felt that they had not wasted their efforts on him this month. But while being happy, Su Wanting couldn't help but think of Su Mo. She didn't know how he did in the exam. It seemed that he was definitely not as good as Juinja. Number 27 Middle School and Number 1 Middle School are not schools of the same level. Not to mention that the title of top scholar in science is a title with extremely high gold content that is definitely not something that students from number 27 middle school can get. Su Wanting didn't see Su Mo during the days of the college entrance examination, and she felt a little sad. She didn't know how he was doing now. Time passed quietly amid laughter and celebration. These days, Xie Bingyan took Su Juinja out for a trip and visited Mount Tai. After Su Juinja returned home, Su Deming waved his hand and had someone send a sports car over and delivered it to Su Juinja. Juinja, this is the sports car your dad gave you. Congratulations on your success in the college entrance examination. This is a Porsche 911, Su Deming said with a smile. When Su Juinja saw it, his eyes widened and he said in surprise, "Thank you, Dad. Just learn how to drive this summer. This Porsche will be yours," Su Deming said with a smile. Su Juinja was extremely happy and nodded immediately. He tried it without letting it go. Su Wanting and Su Xuehui stood on the third floor of the villa and watched with envy. "This Porsche is so beautiful. It's more beautiful than mine," Su Xuehui said with a smile. Su Wanting glanced at her, thought for a moment, and said, "Su Mo has nothing." Su Xuehui's face froze, and the air seemed to freeze. "Once the results are announced, come with me to meet him. Although he did poorly in the exam, I hope we can stand by his side." Su Wanting sighed. "Sister, is my family too harsh and biased towards Su Mo? What do you think?" Su Wanting looked at her. Su Xuehui sighed. "I've reviewed the past few years and thought carefully. If it were me, I would definitely not be able to stay. Although he is not well behaved and his grades are not good, he is our brother after all." Su Wanting looked at her deeply and said nothing. She now knew very well that none of them were good sisters. Sometimes they are more harsh and worse than Xie Bingyan and can be said to have done all kinds of bad things. Su Mo probably won't forgive them. Never. Su Wanting's eyes were slightly red as she walked downstairs. "Sis, where are you going?" "Go down. Juinja's results will be announced soon. Let's see if he can get the top spot in science in Shanghai City." Su Wanting held back the discomfort in her heart. "Oh." Su Xuehui also hurried downstairs. The college entrance examination results are about to be announced, which is naturally a major event. When they heard the time when the results would be announced, almost everyone became nervous and rushed to the living room. Su Mani, Su Pundi, and even the fifth sister Su Shuang all came back. A large group of people were crowded on the sofa in the living room. Xie Bingyan was also excited. Come here, come here. Let's take a good look at Juinja's results. They will be announced soon." "Good." The others were excited and all had smiles on their faces. Aunt Zhao brought some snacks and asked everyone to eat while waiting. Time passed, and soon it was time to announce the results. All of a sudden, everyone became nervous and stared at the screen. Su Juinja was also nervous. He opened the webpage, entered the number, and opened his score list. In an instant, the results were displayed. Chinese 141, Mathematics 143, English 142, Physics 66, Chemistry 70, Biology 59, total score 621. Good. This is a really good result. The number one candidate has been confirmed. The science candidate. When everyone saw it, they couldn't help but be overjoyed and became excited. Congratulations, congratulations, Juinja. Congratulations. Su Juinja was also very happy when he saw the results. This was similar to what he had estimated, and if there were no surprises, he would definitely get the top spot in science. Getting such good grades was not his main goal. His main goal was to surpass everyone, even his elder sister Su Wanting, to prove that he was the best. Therefore, he was determined to win the title of top scorer in science. "Let's see if he's the top scorer first," Su Xuehui said with a smile. "Look, take a look. If it is, it will really bring honor to the family." Xie Bingyan also laughed. "It must be Juinja. With such a high score, it's impossible for him not to get the top spot." Su Mani also laughed. Su Juinja was also full of confidence. After all, this score was definitely not something that ordinary people could achieve. He will definitely be the top scorer in science this time. "The news is out. I'll open it and take a look," Su Juinja said with a smile, quickly opened a web page, and typed in Shanghai City number 1 scorer to search. Soon, a piece of information was released on the Shanghai City Education Network. Congratulations to Su Mo from Shanghai number 27 Middle School, who scored 651 points in the college entrance examination and won the title of Shanghai City's top scorer in science. Brush! Everyone was stunned for a moment, thinking they had seen it wrong, and rubbed their eyes. Su Juinja's face froze, but he reacted quickly, closing the web page and reopening it. Congratulations to Sue Mo from Shanghai number 27 Middle School, who scored 651 points in the college entrance examination and won the title of Shanghai City's top scorer in science. Congratulations to Sue Mo from Shanghai number 27 Middle School, who scored 651 points in the college entrance examination and won the title of Shanghai City's top scorer in science. A crushing victory, 30 points ahead of the second place. I got full marks in 4 subjects in total, with 4 and 5 points lost in Chinese and biology respectively. I won by a huge margin. Everyone suddenly fell into dead silence, suspecting that what they saw was not real. They looked at each other and were all stunned. Su Junja's face was solemn. He quickly closed the web page again, refreshed it, and opened it again. However, now more information is appearing on the education network and the internet. Shocking. A student from Shanghai City number 27 Middle School who grew up in an orphanage won the top spot in the science subject in Shanghai City. Genius. Got full marks in 4 subjects. Only lost points in Chinese and biology. Full score essay. The Elegy of Time is out. It's rare to see this in 30 years. 27 high school students crushed other key high schools in Shanghai City and won the top spot in science. The huge living room suddenly fell into silence. No one could believe this scene. Now at a glance, you can see the words crush, fault, and genius in big characters, which are very conspicuous. How could this happen? Su Manny spoke first, her face full of shock. Whoa! Su Wanning's eyes turned red, and she couldn't help but cover her mouth to prevent herself from crying out loud. When the others saw this, they became even more silent. Su Juinja widened his eyes, still unable to accept it. He continued to browse the web and check the education network and news network again. He didn't believe it was true, so he quickly scanned it more than 10 times and found it was still the same. He quickly stood up, picked up his phone, and called the teacher at number 1 middle school to ask. I proofread it many times, and it is indeed a fault. He surpassed the second place by 30 points. He got almost full marks. There is no problem with the test paper. This candidate from number 27 middle school is said to have always been very outstanding. Some people have predicted that he might win the top spot in science. This time, he should perform exceptionally well. Hearing this, Su Juinja suddenly felt cold all over. How is this possible? He doesn't believe it. Nothing is impossible. We proofread it several times. The student from number 27 middle school is very outstanding. He performed beyond his expectations. Su Juinja was stunned, didn't say anything, and felt a chill in his heart. He knew very well that for a family like the Su family, getting high scores and being admitted to Peking University or Tsinghua University meant nothing and could not prove one's own worth at all. Su Wanting, Su Xuehue, and others have all won very high scores. Only by winning the top spot in science could he prove that he is unique and irreplaceable. However, now, the top spot has been taken away by someone else. It was taken away by the brother, whose name he didn't want to mention. For a moment, he found it difficult to accept this gap. This Suemo, is it Suemo? Someone asked in surprise. It was the 4th child, Su Pundi. Chapter 28, They Live and Die. The others looked at each other, not knowing how to answer this question, and felt very confused. When did Sumo's grades become so good? Only Su Wanning's eyes turned red, and she couldn't help but let the tears flow out from the corners of her eyes. Su Xuehue said, It's probably Suemo. He crushed the second place by a huge margin, 30 points more than the second place, and got full marks in 4 subjects. I don't think anyone in Shanghai City has ever achieved this result in the past 10 years. When did Sumo's grades get so good? Isn't he the worst student among class 27? Asked Su Shuang, the 5th student. Who told you that he is the worst student in number 27 middle school? His grades are actually very good in number 27 middle school. Su Xuehue glanced at Su Shuang. Number 27 high school is considered the worst high school in our Shanghai City. How could a student from number 27 high school win the top honors? Asked the teacher Su Pundi weakly, sighing in her heart. Su Xuehue was unable to explain this question, so she took a few steps forward and said, Juinja, let me see. Su Juinja found it hard to accept and clenched his fists slightly. However, at this time, he did not dare to show too much. He gave way slightly and let Su Xuehue operate the computer. Su Xuehue searched it and said, Mom, Dad, big sister, Suemo should be famous. Many reporters are going to number 27 middle school to interview the teachers and leaders of number 27 middle school and Suemo. Should we go and take a look? She looked up at Xie Bingyin and Su Deming. Xie Bingyin and Su Deming obviously did not expect such a thing, and for a moment, they seemed to find it hard to accept. Especially Xie Bingyin. Her face turned ashen. How could this rebellious son possibly do so well in the exam? He must have used some tricks, Xie Bingyin said with a dark face. Su Deming frowned. During this period, Su Mo has not returned home, and his relationship with his family is very tense. He discussed with Xie Bingyin and decided to leave him alone for a while and find a way to deal with him after the college entrance examination. I didn't expect Su Mo to do so well in the college entrance examination. Su Deming couldn't bear it when he thought of Su Mo calling them by their names and pointing a knife at them. Of course, Su Deming still had his wits about him and said, no matter what method is used, the top scorer is the top scorer. Maybe this Su Mo is not Su Mo, the third sister Su Manny said. How many Su Mo are there in number 27 middle school? I don't know. Su Manny shook her head. Su Shuehue glared at Su Manny and said, then we need to go to number 27 middle school and take a look. Many reporters have gone there to interview them. This is the first time in more than a decade that number 27 middle school has won the top prize in science. They have become famous. Let's go and take a look, Xie Bingyin said coldly. In her heart, she still didn't believe that Su Mo could win the top spot and win it by a huge margin. This was totally unconscionable. How can number 27 middle school, a shabby school, be qualified to win the top spot? Thinking of that rebellious son who pointed a knife at her, she became even angrier. Now the only way to know if it is true is to go and see it. It just so happened that the rebellious son had been living outside for a long time, and Xie Bingyin had decided not to let him go anymore. This time when she saw him, she was going to teach him a lesson. Only Su Wanning's eyes were red, with tears forcing out and blurring her vision. She suddenly realized that she might be deeply sinful. Sister, are you okay? Su Shuehue noticed that something was wrong with her and asked hurriedly. It's okay. Su Wanning sniffed, took out a tissue, and wiped her eyes. Let's go to number 27 middle school. As he spoke, he walked forward, his steps somewhat staggering. The results were handed to Su Mo. The four of them checked them and were all in disbelief. The total score was 660 points, with 150 points each for mathematics, Chinese, and English, and a full score of 70 points for chemistry, physics, and biology. However, Su Mo obtained 651 points. This score was so shocking that they dropped their jaws. Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, and Li Banzwang have carefully checked it 3 times and found no mistakes. Su Mo also received a message from his class teacher Lin Shuyu, asking him to return to school. Although Su Mo was not too surprised by the result, he was still surprised to achieve this score. He originally thought that he was already very good to get 630 points. This score was 30 points higher than the second place, and was too amazing. Of course, even so, it didn't matter. Since Teacher Lin had already called him, he would go back to school. Let's go back. The teachers and school leaders are already waiting, and the other students are already in school. Su Mo said. Tang Lei laughed and said, Su Mo, you are too crazy this time. That's right. It's really crazy. Gu Huanxi also laughed, his eyes full of admiration. Li Banzwang also laughed and said, the total score is 651. With this score, you will definitely be admitted to Peking University or Tsinghua University. Su Mo, you are indeed much better than us. Su Mo smiled and said, what kind of excellence is this? Don't think too much about it. Let's go back to school. Good. The 4 people hurriedly walked towards the school, only to see a large group of people gathered at the school gate. Most of them were reporters who had rushed there after hearing the news, as well as some parents of students. It was bustling and lively. At the gate of number 27 middle school, a red banner has been hung with the words, congratulations to our school's Su Mo for winning the top spot in the college entrance examination in science, written on it. It is hung very high and flutters in the wind. Seeing that there were many people at the door, Su Mo, Tang Lei, and other 3 did not enter through the front door, but entered the school through the back door. Su Mo, Su Mo, Su Mo. When I arrived at the classroom, I saw that there were already a lot of people in the class. When they saw Su Mo coming in, they couldn't help but cheer. Su Mo smiled at them, and seeing that their homeroom teacher Lin Chuyu was also there, he ran over and gave her a hug. Good, good, good. You did very well on the test this time. Very good. Our teachers are all surprised and proud. This is the first time in more than 30 years, since number 27 middle school was founded, that we have a top scorer in the Shanghai City College entrance examination. School leaders will come to celebrate with you later, and there will also be interviews from the news media. So be prepared. Su Mo smiled and said, Teacher Lin, can I turn down this interview? Why turn it down? They're already blocking the school gate. Just tell us your story and how hard you studied. Lin Chiyu said with a smile, This top scholar has sponsorship, and I guess someone will give you a house or something. Do you want to accept it? Forget about this, Su Mo said with a smile. Anyway, you can go and share later and talk more about our number 27 middle school. Su Mo, the teacher has the highest hopes for you. You are indeed more promising than anyone else, Lin Chiyu said with a smile. Seeing her like this, Su Mo felt warm in his heart. He had to admit that Teacher Lin had been very good to him in the past 3 years. In the past, when he couldn't eat at home, he would occasionally go to Teacher Lin's house to eat. At least half of Su Mo's good grades were due to Teacher Lin. But in news interview, Su Mo suddenly smiled in his heart. I wonder what kind of expressions the Su family members have now. When they took the college entrance examination, they were fully armed, ready to fight, and gave it their all. They may find it difficult to accept such a result. But what if you don't accept it? Su Mo really wanted to see the expressions on their faces. Without giving it much thought, the school leaders quickly came over, congratulated Su Mo, and then reminded him what he should and should not say in the interview. Many reporters have been blocking outside the school gate, and they need to be let out as soon as possible. Since the top scorer has already been announced, let him be interviewed first. Su Mo was quickly pushed out and arrived at the school gate. He saw several familiar cars parked at the school gate almost immediately, and he knew without thinking that it must be Su Wanting and a few others coming. Su Mo was not surprised or at all disturbed at the possibility that they might come over. The result is the same whether they come or not. A reporter soon put the microphone to his mouth. Compared to his status as the top scorer in the college entrance examination, people seemed more interested in his identity as an orphan. So Su Mo answered without hesitation and with a smile on his face. Yes, as everyone knows, I grew up in an orphanage. My family died a long time ago. They all died 18 years ago. Some of them died of rotten hearts, some died of insanity, and some died while still alive. After they all died, I grew up in an orphanage. Fortunately, my school teacher Lin Chiyu saved me from starving to death. I am grateful to my school teacher Lin Chiyu. Being an orphan is not an honorable thing, nor is it something to be thankful for. Being an orphan does not represent hard work, and it certainly does not represent misery. I always think I'm doing pretty well. As for my family members, some died of rotten hearts, some died of insanity, and some died suddenly while still alive. But I think this is something I'm very thankful for. It is precisely because they are all dead that I will work harder to embrace a new life. Don't feel sorry for them, although they died tragically. Only by dying cleanly can they live up to the society, their families, and me. As the top scorer today, I don't thank anyone but my school, my head teacher Ms. Lin Chiyu, and my 3 companions in the orphanage. It is you who brought me to where I am today during my darkest days. You are the light of my life. We will continue to work hard. Chapter 29. I hope to become as good as my older sister. Wow. Hearing this, the crowd was instantly in an uproar. Not only reporters came to see the top scorer, but also many parents and passers-by. Especially after hearing that Su Mo was an orphan, many sponsors and advertisers came to him. However, Su Mo's words surprised everyone. How could they not understand the hidden meaning behind Su Mo's words? But why do these words sound a bit poisonous? The reporters were a little confused, but they didn't dwell on the issue and instead asked other questions. Su Mo still had a smile on his face and answered them naturally. Woo-woo! On the other side, behind the crowd, there was crying. The person covered her mouth, tears falling like pearl strings, already scratching her delicate face, but she tried her best to hold back her tears. Su Shuehui turned her head and looked at Su Wanting. Her expression turned very ugly. She didn't expect Su Mo to say such ugly words. In fact, what she heard last time was also very unpleasant, but not as unpleasant as this time. Su Shuehui suddenly realized that the terrible thing she had done had caused irreparable harm to Su Mo. Bullying. Yes, it was bullying by family members, including framing and putting the blame on others. Now Su Mo hates them, and it is absolutely possible that he will retaliate against them in the future. Su Shuehui suddenly realized the horror of this matter. They might have created a demon against them with their own hands. Sister. Su Shuehui turned around and looked at Su Wanting. Su Wanting covered her mouth and said nothing, tears falling hard. She turned and walked towards the car. Su Shuehui was surprised and quickly turned to look at Xie Bingyin, Su Deming, and others. Sure enough, their faces also looked extremely ugly. Especially Xie Bingyin. Her face was dark, and there was anger in her eyes. Su Mo's words were extremely poisonous, and he was clearly cursing them to die soon. How could Xie Bingyin and Su Deming not be angry when their own son said such words to his own biological parents? Lawless. Lawless. He's useless. He's completely useless. Damn it, Xie Bingyin said angrily, unable to tolerate being cursed by her own son. Su Deming, your son has turned his back on his family. He is so cold-blooded and heartless. If you don't teach him a lesson, he will be completely ruined. She turned around and glared at Su Deming. Su Deming is the head of the family and has been running the company. His words are always final. No matter whether it is company matters or family affairs, he has the final say. How could Su Deming allow others to challenge his dignity? Even though the pocket money he gave Su Mo was a little small, as a son, he couldn't curse his parents and family to die early. This is simply treason and lawlessness. He cursed them now, so what would he do next time? Take revenge on them? It's true that none of the children coming out of the orphanage are well-mannered and none of them are good people. It's true that number 27 middle school can't produce any good people. We should have changed the school long ago. Xie Bingyin was furious. She said to Su Deming, Su Deming, if he doesn't teach us, he will be riding on our heads. Su Deming said angrily, then you go and teach. I'll teach? Okay. Then you wait for me. Xie Bingyin couldn't stand this, and her eyes were filled with anger. This time I have to break the ruler. Su Mo was still interviewing, and there were many reporters asking questions. Perhaps Su Mo's words, or his identity as an orphan, are more likely to attract traffic, so reporters asked more questions about this. Yes, they are all dead. Some died of rotten hearts, some died of insanity, and some died of blindness. Only after they are all dead can I study seriously and work hard. Their death is not a disaster for me, but a blessing. I have always been grateful that they died cleanly. Don't mourn for them. There is retribution in the world. The sound came from far away and reached the car. Su Wanting was sitting in the car. She couldn't hold it in any longer and cried on the steering wheel. Su Shuehui walked over, not knowing what to say. She just felt that this was extremely uncomfortable. These people may have caused irreversible harm to Su Mo. Su Shuehui once read a story about an apple farmer who conducted an experiment in which he used a silver needle to pierce the inside of the apple when the apple was in its infancy to check its development. And then the results he got were horrible. Although the silver needle was thin and small and did not seem to cause any major damage to the apples, all the apples that were pierced by the silver needle became deformed and malformed. The apples that were not pierced grew large, round, plump, and mellow. When Su Shuehui thought about what she had done, she felt very uncomfortable. My eldest sister is the person I admire the most. She is my idol. Tanglei, look, this is my eldest sister. She is noble, beautiful, and talented. She graduated from Peking University and Tsinghua University, and she was the top scorer in the college entrance examination. Look at my eldest sister's award certificates. There's no room for them on one wall. These are all the award certificates my eldest sister received. Tanglei, Gu Huanqi, if I could be 1/10, no, 100th as good as my elder sister, that would be great. This is the music composed by my second sister. It's very nice. I found it. My second sister is studying at Xiahai University, the university I always dreamed of attending. But my second sister is a teacher and a professor there. My second sister's sports car is so beautiful. Su Shuehui couldn't help but take out her cell phone and check the messages. When she saw the messages popping up one after another, she finally understood where the despair in Su Wanting's heart came from. At that time, he wanted to tell everyone in the world how outstanding his sister was and how well-educated and well-mannered she was. In fact, during this period of time, she didn't dare to look at the information in it, and she found it difficult to accept such a contrast. Even when Su Wanting told her, she couldn't think too much about it. However, now that Su Mo suddenly won the top spot in the college entrance examination and talked about it in front of reporters, Su Shuehui finally realized that perhaps he really had always taken them as role models. He has now become as good as them, or even better than them. However, it seemed that something was irreversible. For a moment, Su Shuehui felt an empty heart, as if a big piece was missing. An intense sadness emerged from her heart uncontrollably. Sister Su Mo hates us so much. What have we done in the past 4 years? She asked, wanting to cry. Su Wanting raised her head and looked at her with tearful eyes. Seeing that she was also crying, she felt even sadder. I only heard Su Shiwehue speaking with tears in her eyes, heartbroken. We killed him with our own hands. He grew up in an orphanage. He grew up in an orphanage since he was a child. Suddenly, he has 6 older sisters and an extremely wealthy family. He should be very lucky, very excited, and very proud. He looked at us as if he were looking at a figure in the clouds. It was unbelievable. But what did we do? We were all his executioners. When Su Wanting heard her say this, she tried her best to hold back the sadness in her heart. What Su Mo wants most is not us. Sister? Su Shiwehue looked at her. Do you remember that Su Mo often went to take mother's clothes? He often went to mother's room to sleep. Do you remember? Su Wanting cried, but tears kept coming out. Su Shiwehue was stunned and her eyes widened. What he longs for the most is not us, and it has never been us. What he longs for is always his parents who can protect him from the wind and rain. He's an orphan, just an orphan. Su Wanting just felt that tears were forced out like crazy. Always. Even when he came back to our house, he was still like that. So, we're all dead. Su Shiwehue's body trembled violently. She turned around and saw Su Mo answering the reporter's questions with a smile on his face. He kept saying that they were all dead, with a happy and calm look on his face. Su Shiwehue felt more and more terrified. She might not be able to imagine this kind of despair. Chapter 30, my fault? This is my fault. Su Mo was still answering reporters' questions. It has to be said that an orphan without a father or a mother won the top spot in the college entrance examination in Shanghai City, which was a very big highlight and very inspiring. Although some people did not understand what Su Mo said, it did not hinder his excellence. Someone came to him with drums and gongs. It turned out to be a real estate developer who said he wanted to give him a house. There was also a business manager who came over and said he would give him a scholarship of 200,000 yuan, etc. Su Mo is not short of money recently, so he naturally would not accept these things and rejected them all. When he returned to school after the interview, his class teacher Lin Chiyu, Gu Huanqi, and others looked at him with some concern. Su Mo, are you okay? Gu Huanqi asked with a frown. I'm fine. I'm doing fine. Next, we'll be busy again, Su Mo said with a smile. Tang Lei said, I'm glad you're okay. Being busy is just a secondary issue. Let's follow your plan. Good. The shared bicycles are about to be rolled out. Recently, they have been debugging and checking out the sites, and the work has been almost done. Now that the college entrance examination results have been announced, everyone is relieved, and naturally they will start working. Sumo also asked the 4 of them to sign up for driving lessons so that they could get their driver's license before the end of summer vacation so that they could continue working. Sumo, someone is here to see you. Gu Huanqi suddenly gestured. Ignore them, let's go. The school work has been completed and there is no need to stay in school any longer. They have already relaxed for more than 10 days and need to finish the final work as soon as possible. Due to the surge in Bitcoin prices during this period, Sumo's money also skyrocketed. His total funds have more than doubled to 6 million. This means he can do more. He has called Phoenix Bike to purchase another 5,000 bicycles, planning to launch the promotion in half a month. With the investment of 6,000 bicycles, it should be enough in the initial stage. The ones who came over were Xie Bingyan, Su Deming, and others. Sumo was too lazy to argue with them, so he went out of the number 6 middle school through the back door with Tang Lei and others. When Xie Bingyan and Su Deming saw Su Mo turn around and leave when he saw them coming, they were stunned for a moment and then suddenly became furious. Su Mo? They shouted. Su Mo turned around and glanced at him indifferently, with a hint of sarcasm in his eyes, then left without hesitation. Stop him! Xie Bingyan was furious and ordered the bodyguards. The bodyguard obeyed the order and quickly rushed towards Sumo. Sorry to trouble you, Teacher Lin, Sumo said to Lin Chiyu. Lin Chiyu didn't know what was going on, so he said it's okay. They don't dare to mess around in school. We just need to stop them. Sumo nodded, and seeing that the school security had already gone to stop them, he ignored them and left with Tang Lei and the other 2. Sumo. I just came out of the back door of the school and saw a black Audi parked at the back door. Probably because they saw Sumo coming out, the car door opened and 2 beautiful girls with buns on their hair walked out. If not Su Wanting and Su Shiwehue, who else could it be? Sumo wanted to turn around and leave, but the 2 men hurriedly stopped him. Sumo, wait, let's talk for a few words first, Su Wanting said with red eyes. Sumo suddenly looked at them, and seeing their distraught looks, he immediately smiled. You guys are really a bit funny. I don't understand what your purpose is. By the way, have I really offended you? Su Wanting and Su Shuehue felt a pain in their hearts when they heard him say this. Suemo, we're not here to talk about this. We just want to apologize to you. We were too. Su Shuehue wanted to say something. No, don't cry wolf to me. I'm used to your true colors and faces. Suemo smiled at them and said, I know you hate me. It doesn't matter. I hate you too. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and dream that you died miserably. All of you died with rotten hearts. Suemo? Su Wanting was surprised. I know your purpose. You are all here to take credit. You can't accept the fact. Now maybe Xie Bingyan and Su Deming can't accept it either. Suemo smiled and said, I saw them at the front door of the school. They were furious and looked like they were going to eat me up. I don't think I have offended you. Why do you hate me so much? Suemo, we don't hate you. We just want to say sorry to you. It's my fault. I was ignorant before. Su Wanting suddenly burst into tears. Oh. Suemo laughed again. This statement is very interesting. This is the first time I heard you say this. It's quite novel and unique. But, did you bring a recorder? What kind of dirty water do you want to throw on me this time? Su Shuehue felt her eyes blurred with tears. Suemo, we really came here to apologize to you. It was all our fault before. We shouldn't have. Suemo suddenly interrupted her. Su Shuehue, do you think this trick can be used 3 or 4 times? I've seen this trick of yours more than once. Last year, you used this trick to get my recording, right? Su Shuehue was stunned and her face changed drastically. A music teacher. She's also a top student who studied abroad. She's highly qualified, well-educated, and well-mannered. Suemo looked at her and clapped his hands, laughing. I've never seen someone with such a dark heart before. I grew up in an orphanage. I've fought with others. I've been displaced, and I've met countless people. But this is the first time I've seen such a blatant frame-up. You must have thought it was funny and interesting at the time. I also thought it was funny and interesting at the time. But, Su Shuehue, aren't you afraid of retribution? Aren't you afraid of your heart being completely rotten? Su Shuehue was shocked. You shouldn't be afraid, Suemo said with a smile. But one day, you will all get your retribution. You can't escape reincarnation. Suemo. As he was talking, there was a sudden shouting in the distance. Suemo looked up and saw Xie Bingyan, Su Deming, and others rushing over. Suemo wanted to leave, but after thinking for a while, he turned back and said to Tang Lei, Tang Lei, Huanxi, you go back first. I will go back later. Gu Huanxi was worried. Suemo, are you okay? You don't have to. I'm fine. Don't worry, Suemo said with a smile. I don't think they would dare to do anything to me. Tang Lei said, let's go with you. No, you guys leave first. I'll handle these things, Suemo said, not wanting to involve them. Seeing his determined expression, Tang Lei didn't know what to say, so he could only sigh and say, okay, if you have any problems, call us. Okay, Suemo nodded. While waiting for Tang Lei and others to leave, Suemo put his backpack on the ground, opened it, and pulled out a machete from it. Su Wanting and Su Shuehue were surprised. Suemo, what are you going to do? I didn't do anything. Suemo raised his head and smiled faintly. I just asked you to talk about reason. Su Wanting's face turned pale. Xie Bingyan and Su Deming were already extremely furious, and now they rushed over excitedly, intending to teach him a lesson. But suddenly, they saw Su Mo pull out a machete and were immediately stunned. Xie Bingyan's face turned pale. Su Mo, you were talking to us like this? What are you holding in your hand? If I don't do this, you probably won't be able to speak properly. Let me tell you, I've been sharpening this knife for many days. Whoever dares to touch me, I will chop him with it, Suemo said with a smile. When Xie Bingyan and Su Deming saw it, their faces turned pale. Suemo, you and your sister should go home first. Su Wanting spoke with tears in her eyes, her voice full of pleading. Suemo looked at her and laughed immediately. Su Wanting, you really want to harm me. You really need to turn your heart out, wash it, and dry it in the sun. It's already rotten inside, and it's already black. Su Wanting's delicate body trembled violently. Suemo, how many days have you been outside? It's been nearly 2 months, and now the college entrance examination is over. You're just not going to stop, right? Su Deming stared at Suemo. My fault? This is my fault. Suemo immediately turned around and looked at him without any courtesy. I don't care whose fault it is. Put down your knife and come home with us first, Su Deming said angrily. Suemo immediately laughed again. Go home with you? What is your relationship with me? Are you worthy of me going home with you? Suemo. Su Deming was furious. What do you mean by you? Are you out of your mind? What is our relationship? What is the relationship between you and me? I'm telling you, I'm an orphan. My whole family is dead. I'm not afraid of wearing shoes if I'm barefoot. If you Su family members want to bully me, then I'm not afraid of getting hurt. The faces of the others changed drastically, and they dared not move for a moment. Suemo took a look and laughed at it. Look, this is still the best. Now, you can listen to others seriously, right? You can talk sense, right? Chapter 31. I know you're protective of your child. Suemo, it's all my fault. Su Wanning's eyes were blurred with tears. Come on, stop crying over the rat. Suemo glanced at her, not caring at all. He dared to guarantee that if he went back with this group of people now, he would be laughed to death, and he might not have a chance to turn things around in the future. In his previous life, he was played to death like this, and even after his death, these people didn't seem to be very sad. If Su Juinja had not confronted his family 20 years later and reminded them that they had a younger brother who was killed by them, this group of people would not have gone crazy. Seeing that they were silent and all of them had livid faces, Suemo didn't bother to say anything more. He pulled his backpack and took out a wad of money from it. Suemo, are you really not going home with us? Are you really going to go solo? Xie Bingyin stared at him. Suemo looked up and saw her dark face, and immediately laughed. You Su family are really funny. Do you still think I will go back to be a dog? Suemo. Xie Bingyin was furious. Don't call me. Suemo interrupted her. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. I calculated it before. For years, 500 per month. I calculated it randomly. I probably owe you 100,000. In addition, I converted the meat on this body into 200,000. So after all the calculations, I should owe you 300,000. This should be the reason why you come to me again and again. Suemo took the money in his hand and threw it on the ground in front of Xie Bingyin and Su Deming. 300,000. I return it to you. From now on, I will never owe your Su family a cent. I will take all that belongs to me. I don't want a cent of what doesn't belong to me. Su Deming was stunned for a moment and asked in surprise, Where did you get so much money? Suemo laughed immediately. You don't think I will starve to death out there, do you? Come on. I'm the top scorer in the college entrance examination. You don't think there is no one else in the world except your Su family, do you? Come on. This world is very big. Brother, why don't you come home with us? Look, Mom and Dad are already angry. They are not in good health. Why do you always make them angry? At this time, a voice came over. When Suemo heard it, he looked up suddenly and saw another person in the crowd. Who else could it be if not Su Juinja? He was standing next to Xie Bingyin, but he hadn't said anything just now. At this time, he was almost supporting Xie Bingyin with a sad look on his face. Suemo smiled again. Juinja, how did you do in the college entrance examination this time? Su Juinja's expression changed slightly, and he stopped talking. Come here. I have something to say to you, Suemo said. Su Juinja frowned. Brother, what do you want to tell me? Can't you say it from a distance? No, I'm just telling you a secret. If you don't want to listen, then forget it. Suemo shook his head. Su Juinja, Xie Bingyin, Su Deming, and others looked at each other. Xie Bingyin said coldly, Juinja, go over and see what this rebellious son wants to say. I'm telling you, Suemo, don't even think about returning to my Su family in your lifetime. You're useless. You're completely useless. Suemo glanced at Xie Bingyin and smiled. On the contrary, I'm doing very well now. There are a lot of people who want to give me money. Xie Bingyin's face turned pale. Su Juinja was still hesitant about whether to go over, and Su Deming also said angrily, Suemo, if you dare to hurt your brother, I will never let you go. Oh, are you trying to protect your own child? Suemo said with a smile. But don't worry, I definitely won't chop him. I said, whoever touches me, I will chop him. If not, I won't chop him. Suemo, please don't hurt anyone. It's all my fault. Su Wanning burst into tears. Suemo glanced at her coldly, feeling only disgusted. But he didn't say anything and said to Su Juinja, Juinja, come here. After hearing this, Su Juinja had no choice but to say, Brother, it's all my fault. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have run away from home. If you want to blame me as much as you can. Don't blame Mom, don't blame Dad, and especially don't blame my sisters. All right, I won't argue with you. Suemo heard this and couldn't help but sigh at how powerful this guy was. It has to be said that Su Juinja's thoughts are hidden very well, and it is definitely not something that Suemo can easily uncover now. Even if he said it now, it would be meaningless. After all, he had no evidence for many things. These people seemed to be crying very sadly, but Suemo knew very well that they were just crying over the rat, and they had no idea where the crux of the problem lay. "Brother, what do you want to tell me?" Su Juinja walked over cautiously and said, fearing that Suemo would hurt him with a knife. Suemo hid the knife and said with a smile, "Of course I have a lot to tell you. Why are you so afraid of me? I won't eat you. Pick up the money first." Su Juinja was stunned and sighed. "Brother, how can you pick this up? No matter what you do, you can't treat my parents like this. Just pick it up if I tell you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" Suemo said angrily. When Su Juinja heard this, he looked back and saw that Xie Bingyin and Su Deming did not react. So he lowered his head and tried to pick up the money on the ground. But the moment he lowered his head, Suemo raised his foot and kicked him. Suemo. Su Shuehui was surprised. Su Juinja was almost unprepared. He was kicked to the ground with a bang. Suemo took advantage of the fact that no one could react and pounced on him, slapping him in the face. Bang! Jun Chiol. The faces of the others all changed drastically, and they wanted to pounce over. Suemo immediately swung the knife and chopped it to the ground with a clang. "I will chop anyone who dares to come over here." Xie Bingyin and Su Deming had not expected Suemo to dare to do this, and their faces were filled with shock. Everyone else stopped involuntarily. Seeing that none of them came closer, Suemo turned around and stared at Su Juinja, who had been slapped hard. There was dead silence. "Suemo, let him go." Xie Bingyin was afraid that Suemo would use a knife to hurt Su Juinja, and a trace of panic appeared on her face. Suemo glanced at her, a hint of coldness in his eyes. He ignored the reactions of Xie Bingyin and the others, and continued to stare at Su Juinja with murderous intent in his eyes. "Little bastard, remember this, I know exactly what you are thinking. I know it very well. Don't think you can get away with it by muddying the waters. No way. You bastard. You will never succeed." When Su Juinja saw him holding the knife, his face changed drastically, and he almost peed himself in fear. "Brother, what are you talking about? You are such a good pretender, you little bastard. I'm afraid there is no one in this world who pretends better than you. But a bastard is a bastard. An orphan is an orphan. You and I are actually the same, both orphans." Suemo stared at him coldly and smiled. "Look at them one by one. They seem to be crying very sadly, but in fact they know in their hearts that you are a bastard." Su Juinja's face changed. "They may not understand what you are doing, but I understand it very well. Little bastard, this matter will not end like this. I will slowly settle the accounts with you, one by one. Remember, your last name is not Su, and you are not a member of the Su family. Although they regard you as a family member, they know in their hearts that you are just a bastard. Little bastard, even though I can't kill you now, one day, someone will kill you." When Su Juinja heard this, his face turned pale and full of fear. He sensed the murderous intent in Suemo's heart. This statement is not a joke. You all remember this. Suemo turned to look at Xie Bingyin, Su Deming, and the others. "Remember what I said. Although I can't kill this little bastard, this little beast, one day he will die." Xie Bingyin and Su Deming's faces changed drastically. "Let him go," Su Deming said coldly. "I know you're protecting your son, Mr. Su Deming. Don't worry, I won't chop him now. Although this little bastard is not your biological son, he still holds a high position in your hearts." Suemo looked at Su Deming and smiled. "But a bastard is a bastard, a beast is a beast, and one who is not your own child is not your own child." Suemo swung his fist suddenly and hit Su Juinja on the head. Su Juinja screamed suddenly and blood spurted out of his nose. "Juinja?" Xie Bingyin was shocked. Seeing that she was about to pounce on him, Suemo waved the knife in his hand. "Let him go. What did you do to him?" "You are..." Xie Bingyin roared after taking a look. She wanted to yell something, but in an instant, she choked and didn't shout out the last two words. "I'm the bastard, right?" Suemo smiled. Xie Bingyin's expression suddenly changed drastically. "You are right. I am the bastard or the beast. Because my parents are like that. Since they are, I'm also a bastard." Suemo let go of Su Juinja, picked up the machete, and stared at everyone coldly. "I've returned your money. I've said what I should say. From now on, I won't owe your Su family a penny. Take this bastard back." After all, he is your lifeblood. Juinja. When Xie Bingyin saw Su Mo let go of Su Juinja, she rushed over and helped Su Juinja up. Su Juinja's nose was bleeding. His face was pale, and he looked terrified. Doctor, doctor, call 120. Xie Bingyin shouted hurriedly, with a look of fear on her face. Su Mo, please come home with us. Su Wanting did not expect this situation to happen and said to Su Mo while crying. The cat cries over the rat. Su Wanting. No matter how many times I tell you, you won't listen and you don't understand. Come on, I'm leaving. Su Mo glanced at her, pulled back, too lazy to continue arguing with these people. Doctor, call the doctor over quickly. Xie Bingyin was already in a panic when she saw Su Junja bleeding. Su Wanting wanted to stop Su Mo from leaving, but she stretched out her hand slightly, not daring to really stop him, and could only let him leave. Now she felt heartbroken and didn't know what to do. I just felt like my whole heart was being tightly squeezed and I couldn't breathe. Chapter 32 Diary. What my family looks like. June 1st, 2008, Children's Day, weather, sunny. Tang Lei and I are lying on the grass in the school playground. The weather is nice and the air is fresh. We don't have to do the laundry for now. It's a great time to relax. A father and son walked slowly outside the playground. The father carried his son on his shoulders and made him laugh. The father had only one leg and one arm. Tang Lei and I were stunned. We looked carefully for a few times and saw the son smiling on his father's broad back. I couldn't help but sigh that the thickest mountain he had climbed in his life was probably his father's mountain. And this father, even though he had lost an arm and a leg, he resolutely carried his son. Tang Lei got up from the grass and stared at this scene in a daze. He obviously remembered something. Today is Children's Day, the happiest day for some children. Tang Lei has never seen his parents, and neither have I. We used to sleep together, and I often imagined what my parents looked like. As I thought about it, I couldn't fall asleep. I should have parents too. I just haven't seen them. Tang Lei kept talking about what his parents would be like. What kind of jobs would they have? What would happen? And now, I think of the father and son who were missing arms and legs. I should also have parents. My mother should have big eyes, be tall and beautiful. She should be the gentlest and kindest person in the world. I should have parents too. My mother should be around 30 years old. She should be similar to Teacher Zhao in the orphanage. She always speaks softly and gently. No matter what we do wrong, she will teach us patiently and carefully. My mother should be the best mother in the world. There is no one better than her. After returning home and having a quick meal in the restaurant, Su Xuehui returned to her room. The cell phone suddenly rang. It was a message from my eldest sister, Su Wanting. She didn't say anything. She just posted a blog post and an article. This is probably the diary that Su Mo wrote when he was 13 years old and in the second grade of junior high school. The eldest sister found it from her mobile phone and sent it to her mobile phone. My eldest sister didn't come home for dinner. She made an excuse to go to the company. After Su Mo made a scene in front of everyone was unhappy and the house fell into dead silence. Just now at the dinner table, Xie Bingyin and Su Deming both had gloomy faces and were silent, with deep anger in their hearts. Su Juinja didn't have any serious problems, just a punch on the nose. He just bandaged it and went home. Su Xuehui had no appetite either. She took a few bites and then made an excuse to go back to her room to rest. I'm the bastard, right? You are right. I am the bastard or the beast. Because my parents are like that. Since they are, I'm also a bastard. No one expected Su Mo to say such words, and this sentence surprised all the sisters. It wasn't just the reaction to Su Mo. Xie Bingyin also wanted to curse. Although Xie Bingyin stopped cursing and didn't say it out loud, Su Xuehui and others knew that this was definitely what she meant in her heart. But Su Mo could say what she wanted to say in an extremely calm manner. How desperate is this? Su Xuehui couldn't believe it. I guess the elder sister couldn't stand it after she went back, so she sent her this diary that Su Mo wrote 5 years ago. That day happened to be Children's Day. The eyes should be big, the skin should be very white, the hair should be very smooth, and can be worn very long. Sometimes my mother likes to wear a skirt. Sometimes she likes to wear a t-shirt, but no matter what she wears, she will look very good. Mother, she has her own unique skills. She can make dumplings, stew noodles, and cook some home-cooked meals. She is almost the same as Teacher Zhao. If we don't want to eat, she will gently remind us to eat. I don't know whether my mother is dead or alive. I think they should still be alive in this world. They have become stars in the sky. As long as I look up, I can see them. kind, gentle, and always smiling. I seem to see her face. I should have a father too. His back is as broad and thick as a mountain. He stands there like a giant, able to shield us from wind and rain at any time. My father should be like that one-armed and one-legged father. He is so strong that he seems to be able to carry the whole world and the entire earth. But where are you? I can't find you. I'm lost. Tang Lei talked about his parents, saying that he might have seen them once when he was a child. One time, someone secretly came to the orphanage to see him. He seems to have some memory of this in his mind, but I haven't. I haven't seen them. I don't know what they look like. Are they doing well? Are they healthy? Are they happy? If I could see them once, even just once, I would be willing to die. I haven't seen them, but I can imagine them. Among the four of us, Banzwang is actually the happiest. When Banzwang's parents passed away, she was already very old. She still has photos of her parents in her drawer. Sometimes when she can't sleep in the middle of the night, she will take them out and look at them. She hid under the covers, secretly turned on the light, and watched from inside. I sometimes hear Banzwang crying. She misses her parents. And today, I miss you too. Mom and Dad, are you all okay? Are you watching me from heaven? I miss you guys like crazy. Crazy like crazy. I should have a brother or sister too. If I have sisters, they must be very beautiful, gentle, and kind. My sister is like my mother. She should have big eyes, tall stature, fair skin, and long hair. They should be the best sisters in the world. They occasionally buy toys, snacks, and clothes for us, just like Teacher Zhao. If I had sisters, I could draw their portraits. Tang Lei and I lay on the grass and talked for a long time until the evening. Then we left school and returned to the orphanage. Dad, Mom, brothers and sisters, have you seen it? I'm getting taller and stronger. I miss you guys. I miss you guys every day. I want to see you guys like crazy, even if it's just to see you once, to let me know what you look like. Dad, Mom, brothers and sisters, don't worry. Tang Lei and I have already vowed to study hard and grow up to be useful people. I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're still alive, but maybe one day, when I see you, I will definitely tell you madly that I love you and will always love you. Whoa! Su Xuehui couldn't help crying out loud and hurriedly bit the quilt to prevent her voice from being heard. Tears were pouring out of my eyes like crazy, blurring my vision. The alcohol was like a flood that could not be stopped. Su Xuehui didn't know what Su Wanting's expression would be when she saw this diary, but you can guess that Su Wanting is definitely not feeling well. At that time, Su Mo had not been found yet. He was still wandering in the orphanage and attending school outside. Su Xuehui also prides herself on being knowledgeable and intelligent, but she finds it difficult to understand an orphan's longing for his parents and his family. Everything he did was based on this. Looking back on the past 4 years and combining this blog post with everything else, Su Xuehui finally understood it all. She couldn't stop crying, and her tears had already cut through her pretty face. In the Su family, he was once as humble as dust. He frantically tried to please everyone, especially the eldest sister. He took her as an example and said that she was his pride and idol. He used to worship his elder sister crazily. It was almost the same for her, Su Xuehui. His former passion was unbearable and difficult to understand for them. He secretly ran to his mother's room to sleep, just to feel the scent of his parents. He once longed so much for this breath. But no more. Now, there is nothing. No one is looking forward to his coming home. No one is looking forward to seeing him. He didn't even have a hint of expectation in his heart. I'm the bastard, right? You are right. I am the bastard or the beast. Because my parents are like that. Since they are, I'm also a bastard. Woo-woo. Su Xuehui came out again. She couldn't hold it back anymore. Now she felt the despair personally. They are all the culprits. Chapter 33, he has a sister and an older sister. She cried and trembled as she dialed Su Wanting's number. Sister, Su Xuehui couldn't help it. Su Wanting heard her crying, but she didn't say anything. She just responded, yeah. There was obviously a tone of crying in that voice. What have we done? How could we do those things? Why do we do those things? Su Xuehui cried and said, Sister, did you see it? When did you see it? A few days ago. Su Wanting said, I didn't expect this to happen, sister. I didn't realize this problem. I know he is dirty, different from us, but I didn't realize it. I don't even know what an orphan means. Su Xuehui cried and said, Whoa, I don't know, I didn't realize it. I just heard about it. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand either. Su Wanting said, But what do we do? Su Xuehui cried out loudly. Su Wanting stopped talking, sniffed hard, and tears were streaming down her face. He wanted to visit my company many times. He actually has the qualifications. He is my younger brother. He will also have a share in that company in the future. I didn't let him in. Wanting spoke slowly in a hoarse voice. The security guard didn't like him and knocked him to the ground. He sat on the ground for a long, long time before leaving. He never came to my company again. He only dared to watch from afar, secretly. Wow. Shuehui couldn't help crying. Why didn't I let him in at that time? He is our blood brother. He has the right to go in and take a look. He used to like that place so much, but not again, never again. Wanning's voice was very low, extremely suppressed. Shuehui couldn't hold back her tears either. That night, it was raining heavily. My bestie and I were celebrating my birthday in the living room. I knew he was out, and I didn't dare go home. Shuehui, I know your broken sports car. I know that too. He has always wanted to touch it. Shuehui burst into tears. But he didn't dare. He never dared. He could only hide on the second floor and watch secretly. He thought it was the most beautiful car in the world, the car driven by his most beautiful second sister. He used to sneak into my school, into the university, into the library. He finally ran into my class and secretly attended the class. I didn't understand why he did this before. I never understood. Why should I understand? But I can't understand the orphan. I can't understand how much we mean to him. He once wanted so badly to catch a glimpse of this aura, but he couldn't. I had the students kick him out. His proudest and most admired second sister just watched him being knocked to the ground by those students and kicked out of the school. Sister, I am the devil. Wanting stopped talking. There were only sounds of sniffling, tears, and heavy breathing. Sister? Why? Why did we become like this? Shuehui continued. Mom and Dad, they don't know yet. Wanting took a breath and said, maybe they know, but they haven't reacted yet, or they don't want to react. Shuehui didn't say anything. What I fear most is the unwillingness to react. Wanting spoke again. Shuehui couldn't help crying again. She felt that such a thing was really unbearable for her. My family might not be willing to react. They also pretended to be confused before. This may be the reason why Suemo no longer has any expectations. If he still had a glimmer of hope in his heart, he probably wouldn't have said those words, and he probably wouldn't have run away from home. He is now the top scorer in the college entrance examination. Even without them, he could still become better than everyone else. Wow, sister, what should we do? Shuehui asked, crying. Wanting shook her head. I don't know either. Let's wait a few days and see when he calms down. I don't want him to continue wandering outside, alone and helpless. I want to tell him that even if other people don't like him, he still has a sister and a big sister. Even though this elder sister was once blind, had a rotten heart, and had done all kinds of evil, she could still protect him from even the slightest storm. He could still find even the slightest support and comfort in this family. Not everyone hates him. Wow. Shuehui burst into tears. Wait a few days. Wait a few days. Wanting seemed to be unable to bear it anymore. She suppressed her tears and was unwilling to say more. Suemo, Tang Lei, and others celebrated. We booked a KTV room, invited a few classmates, and sang loudly and celebrated together. After 3 years of high school and 3 years of depression, I was finally liberated today. I also won the top spot in the college entrance examination in Shanghai City. All the teachers came over to eat, drink, and have fun. In addition to Suemo, Tang Lei, Gu Huanxi, Li Banzwang, and others all performed very well in the exam and all reached the key line. Among them, Gu Huanxi even scored a high score of 601 points. With this score, there is no problem getting into Peking University or Tsinghua University, so Gu Huanxi plans to apply for them. Tang Lei and Li Banzwang are about the same. All 4 of them are qualified to be admitted to Peking University and Tsinghua University. In addition, several other classmates also performed very well in the exam. This time, number 27 middle school reaped great rewards in the college entrance examination, becoming the biggest winner among all the high schools in Shanghai City. So this celebration was very lively, and several school leaders and teachers came, all in high spirits. Suemo drank a lot of wine and was drunk. The group played until late at night before going home. When we got home, we were still not sleepy, so we ordered some takeout, and the 4 of us drank and celebrated together. They haven't been this happy in a long time. Now that the heavy stone of depression in my heart has fallen, it's not too much to play or relax in any way. In the end, the 4 people were full and drunk, and were too drunk to go back to their room to sleep, so they could only lie on the sofa to sleep. Although there are differences between men and women, Gu Huanqi and Li Banzwang did not mind them at this time. The four of them have no parents and have always depended on each other. They have long regarded each other as relatives. After playing all night, the next day, Gu Huanqi and Li Banzwang got up and went to the market to buy vegetables. When Su Mo and Tang Lei woke up, they had already prepared a large table of dishes. The shared bikes have to go online first. The first batch will be 1,000 bikes. Phoenix Bike will send the second batch in 3 days. When the time comes, we'll roll out 5,000 vehicles at once. We need to see how many people will use them. How much deposit can we receive? Sumo, I'm still a little worried. Li Banzwang said. Yes, I'm worried too. If our bicycles get stolen, they cost more than 300 yuan each. Gu Huanqi said. Don't worry. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. I estimate that the sharing industry will become bigger and bigger in the future, and we must seize this opportunity. Sumo said with a smile. Sumo, what if we receive a lot of deposits? The money may not be safe in our hands, said Tang Lei. He has always been timid. If we have millions or tens of millions of dollars, we can earn interest by putting it in the bank. If we put 10 million in the bank, we can earn more than 30,000 yuan in interest a year. What's more, we can also make other investments. Other investments? Tang Lei frowned. What if we lose money? We won't be able to pay back the deposit then. Sumo smiled. Don't worry about these. We won't lose money. It's just a matter of how much we make. In short, we need to quickly launch and promote the sharing industry. As long as we scale up, we can make money. When the three heard this, they looked at each other. Let's give it a try first. Let's start with 1,000 cars. Yes, let's give it a try. We'll deploy 1,000 vehicles. Tonight, we'll go distribute the vehicles. We've already selected the locations. We'll deploy 20 vehicles at each location. Good. The plan has been made long ago, but I was too busy to promote it. Now that the college entrance examination results are out, there is no need to hesitate. Sumo decided to seize this opportunity as soon as possible, make the final decision, quickly grab the entire Shanghai city market, and then promote it nationwide. Sumo knew very well how powerful the Su family was